soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got a job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just empleados. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Pomona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head-to-head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Brest controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can. It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but at what cost? It pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. Let's know what it is.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
I didn't have much choice. At least I kept a roof over my head here. But food on the table.
Why are you here? Take this. Lieutenant's orders.
Wolfman, we got the situation here. Something's up. I think we got trouble.
Entrance clear. Moving to the rendezvous. Intruders! Through the main entrance! Go for backup now! Move the hallway! Let it be open! Good night! Down! Cover me! Russian fire! Hang in there! Reloading! Clark! Clark! We're in that asshole! Reloading! Target down! Just do your fucking job! All units, move up! Eat shit! Good night! Get down! Keep moving! Quit playing with your phone for fuck's sake! Why didn't I take you out?
We're in position at the east entrance. The power's back. Need time to break in.
Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated
Ayla, you said there's nobody here.
Mouth stop, boy!
is about to be cordoned off, as gas has started to leak. Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated personnel are to be immediately. The area is about to be cordoned off, as gas has started to
As soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got the job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just employados. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Pomona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head to head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Bresk controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can. It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but at what cost? It pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. Let's know what it is.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
I didn't have much choice. At least I kept a roof over my head here. But food on the table.
Why are you here? Take this. Lieutenant's orders.
Wolfman, we got the situation here. Something's up. I think we got trouble.
Entrance clear. Moving to the rendezvous.
Intruders! Through the main entrance! Go for backup now! Move the hallway! And in the opposite! Good night!
Quit playing with your food for fuck's sake. This is why I never take you out. We're in position at the east entrance. The power's back. Need time to break in.
Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated
Ava, you said there's nobody here.
Mouth stop, boys!
The area is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak. Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated personnel are to be immediately. The area is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak.
Welcome back to another Golden Lions Legion event. We have the Valkyrie crash tonight, and I am joined by the 7WG on the cast for this one. We are on TV station lockdown zone all night tonight. What do we have prepped for everybody tonight, Seven?
I'm hoping it's a lot more of what we saw last weekend, because even before we just started, we're like, oh, yeah. TV station lockdown. We're excited for it. We know everybody else is going to be bringing it, and I can't wait to see how the actual participants are going to be bringing it, because we got some new people, and it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked a little bit before the event about one key factor that always comes up on these high-intensity matches, and we saw it come into play last week where both teams completely wiped on round one.
Yep.
No extraction value whatsoever, no points. And it's that experience playing together and that team coordination. I think that's going to be huge today, and we'll find that out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm hoping that these teams are at least looking to lock in some kind of values. We saw it, especially from the English team last week, right? It was the first game. They weren't able to really do much. And in the third game, if I'm not mistaken, or the fourth game, they also had a bit of a struggle where they weren't able to get that much loot. And that kind of gave them a bit of this disadvantage going into the final stretch. If these teams can at least be a little bit consistent in just locking in those points, making sure they extract successfully, I think we're going to be in for one this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get into the details of the format here in a little bit. We also have 40 CD keys, those in-game codes that you can redeem for that ammo bundle coming up. And this week we have KARO Gaming up against TATIS, and the rest of the team is a huge factor here. I've seen KARO Gaming play plenty of games. I've got games in with her myself. We have experience in getting those reps in. Now, I know she's been playing a ton of TV Station. And then we have TATIS, who I'm not familiar with, haven't seen on one of these events yet, but we know MeTech is on the team. And you mentioned they have reps together on TV Station.
Yeah, and that's the scary thing, right? I got a chance to talk with MeTech, and he was like, yeah, I'm actually the one that showed TATIS how to play the game, and he's also played with 6 Kratos before, so we are expecting a lot of chemistry within that team. And the main thing that we saw as well from last week, especially in TV Station, was the chemistry kind of overshine. Remember last week, the English team, they barely came up they came up together an hour before we even started the actual tournament, and you could see them hurting them a little bit, and they were able to adjust their playing style throughout the whole event. In this one, I'm really excited to see the first round and seeing how these teams are going to be, because we know MeTech and TATIS, they might be playing that aggressive style that they're used to, or they're going to be adjusting. And what are we going to be expecting out of KARO Gaming? Pills, I mean Hyperkind, and you were mentioning too Poker Bro, he seems like a beast too. He likes to hunt those rats, as you were telling me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I know that Pills Mayhem has a ton of reps in the game, and has reps in with KARO Gaming, and I know that Poker Bro has a bunch of experience on TV Station. And then we saw MeTech last week come away with the win, and that coordination, those reps on TV Station being a huge dynamic in that, a crazy back and forth just battle between these two teams, the lead flipping multiple times. And with this 20-minute format, that really only gives you a chance to get a second game in if you have an early wipe. So a late wipe generally will result in 0 points for the round, which is a huge thing to keep in mind with the strategy for these teams.
Yeah, and as you see it there at the bottom, 2 teams will be competing. We just mentioned already the players that are going to be participating, and I'm glad you mentioned that 20-minute mark as well, because if for some reason they do decide to just focus on one match, if they end up getting eliminated, we saw towards the end, that's going to be hard to recover from.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they've also got a 500 coin limit on the value of the equipment that they can bring in. So we are going to see no thermal optics in this event for the evening. And so that flashlight use is absolutely essential in this format. And the strategy that you have to take, being defensive enough to guarantee you get at least 3 or 4 players off of the map, is something we see these teams kind of work their way into throughout the event. And how quickly they get there with their strategy is a huge factor in success.
Yeah, they would have to be absolute maniacs if for some reason thermals were allowed, if that loot value to come into the game will be a little bit higher. Boy, going into TV Station with a thermal, that's just next level. Okay, I like running thermals, and I'm not even going to be doing that anytime soon. And we mentioned it already, it's going to be 5 seconds of 20-minute matches. Or it could be more. It could be more than one. Anything can happen here. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to get started. I already have a team in mind that might be performing well, but I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, Mod6. I'm going to wait until the end to see who's actually going to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And our format for the evening, we have these 20-minute rounds, and the way the points are going to work is a successful extraction is the only way to score points, and that's by individual player. And so the loot value in total coin from each player upon successful extraction, 1 coin equals 1 point. And then we have 5,000 points for each kill, no matter whether it is a TAC Ops player or an AI guard bot. Anything on the map, it is 5,000 coin per kill, but it only counts if you successfully extract.
Yeah, so for those players, you know what, if you do happen to find a golden lion, which, to be honest, they found 2 last time, I'm hoping that we're going to be able to beat that record here today. Do not put that in your compensate case. Just leave it out in your backpack. So in case you do die, your teammates can pick it up and they can still get those points, because if they do die, that's not going to go towards anywhere. And the players, I mean, definitely they must distract within those 20 minutes. If not, they're going to end up with that big old donut, 0 points, which has happened. We were alluding to it last week, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if it ends up happening here at some point during this 5 segment matches.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of the cumulative points from successful extractions will be totaled up. The team with the highest number of points is the winning team for the evening. And really, it's absolutely those late round deaths that are completely heartbreaking, because you just don't have enough time in a 20-minute round to guarantee a second game.
Yeah.
And so you see these players get more and more defensive the later we get into the game if they're going to be successful in this format. So we have our first couple of codes coming up here in a minute, but hey, on the line tonight, 7, we got $2,000 to the winning team. And so this winners take all format, that means that the pressure is on from the start.
I'm just saying, there's a nice knife out there right now, the Talent Striker. I have it already. You can definitely end up getting it if they do end up winning this tournament. Whichever team is going to end up winning it. And I was already thinking, see, I'm looking at chat. I see Dad Play saying that he's really a fan of the FAL at the moment, the FAL. And I must say, I am too. And we saw that last weekend as well, Mod6. We saw them being able to switch it up. Remember, Mitek for the longest time, he's like, yeah, I think we're just going to be sticking out with not super crazy high gear since only level 4, only level 5. Well, guess what? Now it's been a week since the map came out. Now a lot of the general population know how TV Station plays, and they need to be able to adjust to that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing a lot of that tier 6, that alien helmet and a nice little tanky suit, and on top of that, maybe some files alongside with M61.
Yeah, absolutely. It is completely feasible to run a full level 6, tier 6 everything and make it under that 500,000 coin armor value cap. And then, we've definitely seen this on TV Station where that mid-range approach with the weapon system, whether it's an FAL or an M4, we've got a lot of that going on TV Station where a lot of people may have expected to see more submachine gun action. We see a little bit of it, but that mid-range heavy hitter is giving people a lot of success on this map. And we saw both teams move in that direction in last week's matchup. So
you said submachine gun? Ooh. I'm already thinking of the Suomi, have it as a secondary. if your first gun runs out of ammo, switch it and then just shoot them legs.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our first set of CD keys coming up now. You redeem these in-game. They are one shot. So once the code has been redeemed, that is it. You go to that events tab, go to the bottom tab on your left-hand side on the screen to that redemption center, and that is where you redeem these codes. We have our first 10 coming up here in just a minute, and it is first come, first serve, one-time use, so you got to be quick on the draw.
Yeah, and I promise, chat, this time I'm going to put my hands up. I'm not going to be taking any because I was definitely trying some last week, so there you go. Have it right now. I mean, and if you do end up getting one, please let us know in the chat because we're definitely giving some shout outs yesterday. I mean, last week whenever people were winning those sweet prizes in those redeem codes.
Yeah. Don't get frustrated if you don't get it and don't get conspiratorial. We see those confirmations in the chat when they come through. And if you don't get one in this round, don't worry about it because we have 30 more coming throughout the event. We have our first 20-minute round, and then we're going to have a quick turnaround after round 1 and jump right into round 2. After round 2, we've got a 10-minute break followed up by rounds 3 and 4. Another break before our final round, and then round 5. And last week, it came down to round 5 to settle the score and decide our winner. And so TV Station Lockdown Zone, just a map that is perfect for this competition format. The 20-minute limit putting significant pressure on all of these teams to be successful in their gunfights all evening long.
And talking about that, right, I wonder if these teams, and you can see there, KARO Gaming and TATIS, make sure you go check out their channels and give them some support as well. And let us know in the comments, too. Who do you think it's going to end up winning? KARO Gaming or TATIS? Or if you're not sure yet, it's okay. Just sit back, relax, enjoy the awesome vibes here, and then wait to see how the first game goes, and then maybe you'll have somebody to choose.
Yeah, and we are going to hop into an interview here in just a moment with KARO Gaming and Hyperkind, our English side, to see what the strategy is for this evening.
I don't have to translate yet. I don't have to translate this time. Let's go, baby. We got this.
We have KARO and Hyperkind with us. And this is the first time we've done a pre-event interview where we only have one side. So we want to hear about what some of the tactics are. First, what weapon are you guys both bringing in? And then tell us, what's the tactic? Are we aggressive or are we cautious starting out?
It's gonna have to be a bit of both, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not too much of an aggressive player, so I like to play it a bit slower, wait for them to rush out, and then I'll come sweeping. So we're gonna play it a bit, you know. We haven't got all the time in the world, so we can't take forever.
True.
Yeah, so for me, I'm gonna be looking at, so I'm gonna try to be aggressive. I mean, we've got KARO who's gonna be focusing on the looting side of things. We've also got Pills and gosh, his name is escaping me. Pills and Poker. Sorry, names are bad. Yep. But then both of them are very aggressive players. I'm gonna try to stick with KARO, like make sure that she has somebody watching over her as she's looting. And yeah, we're gonna try to do a mix of both. Be aggressive, but at the same time, while all that madness is going on, we're gonna be trying to pull whatever we can. If we drop any teams, like take the valuable stuff from that and look to get out. That 20-minute timer is definitely going to be something that's sitting on the back of our minds, and we've got to constantly be thinking about where are we on the map and what's going to be the best extraction to take, because front door is not going to be an option. That opens last 10 minutes of the raid.
Yeah,
so both are going to be dangerous. Vent is going to be probably one of the good ones, but that's a trek. So we got to see.
So from what I'm hearing from you guys, I'm hearing that there's going to be a 2-2 split. Is that correct? Some people are going to be focusing on the loot. Others might be focusing on that PvP. Am I on the right angle here?
Well, we're still going to try stick as a team. We need to have each other's back the whole time. Obviously, TV is just a crazy map. Tons of crazy angles, sneaky angles. So we always need to be careful. We need to have each other's back in this map for sure.
And one of the things that we've talked about over and over again with these events is kind of team communication and coordination. What kind of reps do you guys have with the other players on your team? We've got Pills and Poker, and I know you guys have been doing some serious work on TV Station. What does the team history look like?
Well, it's pretty much, to be fair, I'm not going to lie, it's been a bit last minute for us as well. Like, some of us work, we've not been able to get together and play the whole time. Big thing for us is time zones. I live in the UK, and we've got the other guys living in Hawaii, in Oklahoma, so it's been really tough, to be fair, getting the games in. We've had some, like, Discord VC issues with Poker, bro, but nothing's gonna stop us. We're gonna give it our all, we're gonna have a lot of fun, hopefully put on a good show for you guys.
Right on. Well, before we let you guys go, because I don't know how long this interview is going to be, I want to get the spiciness going. I want to get that trash talking going. Is there anything you want to say to the other team? Just keep in mind, keep it family friendly. No, none of that. You're going to go down. We're going to win, baby. None of that.
Nah, for me, it's all, you know, like, it's the first tournament where we've had 2 female content creators going up against each other. So for me, that's already a W, guys.
Right on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
First. KARO's gonna win. Got it. Thank you, KARO.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, best of luck tonight. Hopefully we see all kills, no deaths, and big loot. Maybe even a golden lion in the backpack this evening. We're gonna let you guys go and get the loadout ready to go, get the gear on, and get into that first TV Station lobby.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Oh man, I was really hoping for some trash talk in there. Chat, I tried. Okay, I tried. You should get people hyped up, but you mentioned it. I mean, it is the first time that we do have 2 women being the captains of each team, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see how this gameplay is going to be. Sadly, we didn't get a chance. I was thinking about this too. We didn't get a chance to ask her, and I think you did ask her. Maybe they just didn't answer what guns they were going to be running. So I'm excited to see what is going to be in the first one, and if that's going to continue, and also the follow-up that she said on that question in regards to have they been able to get those reps. It doesn't seem like they've been able to get as many reps. So I'm hoping that it's not too much of a slow start for this team. I'm hoping that the first segment is not going to be a big 0-0 for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are all experienced players, but the coordination, we can't say it enough. It is absolutely one of the top priorities to be able to get that down, to be successful in this format, because 20 minutes is not a long time, right? I mean, they have to get in, get their loot, get their kills, win every single gunfight, and then successfully extract off the map with the extraction timer ahead of time inside of a short window. And if you die early, you know, you can get back into the game maybe, but all of those factors are ratcheted up if that's the case.
Yeah, and then, I mean, if you do die early, then you're kind of forcing your team to play even slower. And now they're in a situation where, like, okay, are we actually going to go try to exit? Do we have enough time to maybe go for another match? Or do we just commit with 3 players or 2 players or whatever the case might be, right? If you're 1 player alive and you still got 15 minutes left, I would just suggest grenade yourself and go into the next round. Try to maybe put in a second match there, because that would be the best way. Because, yeah, you are able to rat. Shout out to all the rats out there. Maybe the rat mask will make an appearance here in a little bit, especially in TV Station. So yeah, a lot of tactics is going to be going into today, and as we mentioned, I mean, now TV Station has been out for some time. Now people have found some extra ratting spots, some extra angles that a lot of these teams need to be careful for.
Yeah, and we saw last week both teams made some rats suffer for trying to pull it off. So we'll see if that's consistent again with this week. And the early indicator of which team is more coordinated will be, you know, success in extraction in round 1. We saw none of that last week, but we saw both teams successfully extract in rounds 2 and 3 with big loot numbers. And so the speed that they can get all of that coordination down for successful extraction is the biggest indicator. And we know that Mitek and TATIS have played together, and maybe just that little bit of experience is enough to exceed the experience that KARO Gaming has with her teammates. We'll find out. We have our first round on TV Station coming up here within the next couple of minutes. These teams, each individual player stream is on a 2-minute delay. And so that delay is set so that we can sync all of the incoming video feeds and give you the action all matched up. And so that's all we're waiting on right now. We're going to be hopping into TV Station here in just a minute, and we will find out how well these teams have their strategy worked out. We'll see what gun choices they have, but man, by round 2, a lot can change.
Yeah, I think a lot is going to be changing. And you know what? I'm going to put you and myself on the spot, and maybe chat as well for everybody currently watching at home. I want to know. I want some predictions, man, on how many of these bad boys right here, all right, how many of these bad boys, the Golden Lions, are going to be found today? Because we had 2 last weekend, and that was a massive surprise. And I felt like that actually caused some big swings between who was in first place, who was in second place, and vice versa, switching those leads. So, Mod6, sir, how many Golden Lions do you think are going to be found this event?
I desperately want to see our all-time record of Golden Lions in one event. I want to see this record broken, right? The record is 2. It's been done twice, including last week. And when you see those Golden Lions in the backpack, everyone starts to ring the RNG bell and go crazy about this is luck-based. And man, if they just had another shot, if they played this 99 times, then obviously the team I'm rooting for would win. But I want to see the record broken. I'm going for 3 Golden Lions today in a single event. Low probability, but I think we're going to get there.
Ooh, 3? Okay. All right. I like those numbers. You know what? I see Crafty saying KARO's going to be getting 3 Golden Lions as well. I see some people saying 0 and some people saying a secret document. I have to be there with you, honestly. I wanted to pick a different number, but I feel like 3 is definitely going to be the magic number. And I hope that third one comes in on that last match just to make it even more exciting for everybody currently watching at home.
Yeah, absolutely. If we see Golden Lions, I want to see them late. That makes it more exciting, but the big thing is that those are a huge swing. We've never seen a secret document in one of these events either, and so that's always on the table, and that can completely flip the map on its head. So we're going to jump into the competition on TV station. We're going to get into the match, and round one is that early indicator on team coordination and success throughout the event.
I'm ready, baby. I'm ready. And for everybody just maybe currently tuning in, you know what? Let's give it the breakdown right now of the teams as well. On KARO Gaming side, you got obviously KARO Gaming as the captain, Pills, Mayhem, Hyperkind, and Poker Bro. And then on the other side, on TATIS team, you're going to have TATIS, Six Kratos, Marco DG, and none only than the reigning defending champion of the TV station, Golden Lion Legion rivals, Metech. So it's going to be exciting. I'm hoping no Golden Lions, but I am hoping that we get maybe, possibly, even a slight excitement of a secret document, because I know there's definitely some content creators out there that has gotten some trashy, being one of them. Shout out to them. They make a lot of great content. Make sure you guys check them out. But here we go, going straight into it. You can already hear that electronic segment in the background. The countdown is going to be going down, and KARO sticking to what she was saying. She was going to be looting, and I do see that she currently has the level 6 as well for extra security.
Yeah, you already see the gunfights going on around her. She's communicating with her team and managing that. We see Pills Mayhem pushed out in front of her, as well as Poker Bro right outside. TATIS also in a gunfight in one of these back rooms. Tight quarters for both teams as they manage the pressure. We've got, looks like, highly coordinated clearance of corners and hallways right now. You see them moving like real operators through these hallways as they have worked out their security and their looting process. Here's our first indicator of some coordination between these players on these teams and working out that strategy ahead of time.
Yeah, and I think I might have just gotten my answer right away in regards to how this team is going to be playing. Look at that. Oh, being able to find a golden watch right there. Also, I was looking at some of the ammo that she had on her backpack. It's already some X61, some M80, and some M62. So I believe they might have already gotten into a fight, and being able to get that from another team, we'll have to wait and see if that's the actual case. They're going to be able to find some glasses there as well. But from that first segment that we saw right there, you could see Kratos just kind of leading the way, being extra aggressive, jumping around, covering all the angles, covering all the corners. So far, right now, I mean, it's looking like it's going to be another exciting weekend here, Mod6.
Yeah, absolutely. The gunfights, I mean, we jump in with these players with the 20-minute countdown just starting, and both teams are already in gunfights, already looting gold items. And this is why, I mean, I'm a fan of TV Station as a map for this format. It's nonstop action. And both of these teams now kind of in the lull after the start of this map. You know, you always basically start this with a gunfight in the first 90 seconds on TV Station, and then you start to develop into the mid-game on this map, and that is where we see the coordination and the positioning of team members in relation to each other start to really be a factor. TATIS and her teammates moving as a four-man coordinated effort, clearing those more open areas that they're moving into with a little bit more separation here between Hyperkind and teammates. Now, good communication, it sounds like, but different strategies going into the mid game. But a vase, big loot, big loot for Hyperkind.
Oh my goodness, you couldn't ask for a better start here. Not only does they get a vase, they also end up getting 2 AR-57s for this team. They still have 14 minutes left, and now the big question for Hyperkind becomes, okay, you know what? If I'm his team, I'm pretty much going to put him in the back. I'm going to put everybody in the front to be a bit of a meat shield and make sure he doesn't go down. And I think he's going to be keeping that vase on the outside. He's not going to be putting that in the composite case. I don't know if he has one or if he doesn't. But kind of with what I alluded to at the start of the event, saying if you do end up dying and that very high value item is in that composite case, you're going to end up losing it. And now your team is going to hinder and not really able to get that item back. And you can see Hyperkind, come on, is that lock gonna strike twice? Okay, it's just a ram stick. It's just a ram stick.
Yeah, that's a big factor, what you just mentioned. The fact that he leaves that in his backpack, that is a decision they make actively, because if it's in the composite case and you die, you do not get the credit with those points. But if you leave it in the backpack, your teammate can potentially loot it off your body, maybe get to a successful extraction. And any item worth over 200K. I expect to see them leave in that backpack for that exact reason. It doesn't look like we've seen any deaths though, but Mitek and one of his teammates, Kratos, in a gunfight there for just a second, but they've got this under control. Both teams kind of moving through a similar path on the map, clearing and staying close to each other. Mitek, I expect to be confident on this map and in this format with the success from last week.
Yeah, Mitek being able to find a vector there, quite a big contrast from what we saw earlier. Let's see what he's going to find in this save. Not getting as lucky as Hypercon was able to do. Oh, okay, there you go. Sorry, I got mistaken. I thought he was already opening. Okay, let's see. Ooh. Okay. Okay, I got a little bit excited there. Okay, it's not often that we see right off the rip, Mod 6, a vase on one of this player's backpack already. And I feel like that's going to be a big changer. And that might actually affect how Mitek, TATIS, and the rest of their squad ends up playing maybe on match 2. Maybe they're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive. If the lead, we obviously don't know how this is going to end up. We still got 12 minutes. We got plenty of time. But I'm already thinking about the future. I'm already thinking about how this team might be reacting, knowing that possibly they could be in second place.
Yeah, you know, not like clearly a difference in loot luck in that exact same room with that exact same key for these teams. But, you know, consistency is everything. You got to hit that room and successfully extract 5 times tonight to really, you know, put yourself in a position where you've got a great chance at winning. So both of these teams playing together, playing pretty consistently, pretty conservatively up to this point. We're now under the 12-minute mark for the time that's left. And so what I expect both of these teams to start doing, regardless of how much loot they have, is planning their pathway to activate an extraction and then figuring out what they're going to do on the way to that extraction point. Because if you plan your movement on this map effectively, you can do that and activate the extraction point relatively early. You know, you don't have to wait until there's 17 minutes into the round and you've hit most of the map and really maximize the loot opportunity. So we're looking to see which of these teams starts to move towards the extraction decision first, with all 4 players up alive and clearing through this map.
Yeah, as we see here, TATI's team, I think they might have been able to spot somebody because now they're just starting to hunt people down. Mitek's going to be leading this charge. She's going to decide to back off a little bit. Very tactical smoke right there to allow them to push towards the right side. And here comes the big push out of this team. We've seen how aggressive they have been in the past. They see some footsteps up ahead. We might be looking to get into a fight here. Very imminent. It could happen at any moment, but they need to watch out. They need to make sure they keep track of everything going on within this map, because as we have mentioned before, there is so many off angles that somebody can get on you, and there's so many surprises that can happen, as well as Pills Mayhem and now KARO Gaming with switch spots. I believe they have already called elevator exit. They want to be able to secure that vase, and I love that about this team. I love that they are at least making sure that they're going to be able to put themselves on the board, as he's going to be killing one player right there. Good to go for KARO Gaming, as Pills Mayhem was able to shoot at them as well. They have a team pushing towards them.
Yeah, Pills Mayhem out in front, playing the more aggressive position, just like KARO said was going to be the plan in our pregame interview. And KARO with absolutely vicious shots. And this positioning is a serious advantage for them as they show some real patience waiting for the other team to push. Now, KARO starts to move up. We'll see if they start to get aggressive to try and close out this team, close out this gunfight. Looks like no equipment on that opposing player. So either that is a glitch or whatever, but that seems like it's a real player down the hallway. So Team KARO engaged in the gunfight and moving forward, but doing so cautiously and conservatively. Taking some shots and KARO goes down immediately. That is how quickly your fortune can change, and her team now put in a position to have to make a tough decision with, you know, they're over the halfway point.
And Hypercon right now, he has that vase in his backpack. He needs to make sure he doesn't peek out at all. KARO Gaming getting a little bit too aggressive there, considering that they were looking to make this exit. They're going to have to go back, but as long as Hypercon gets out with that vase, I feel like it is going to be a massive W for this team, and it is going to be looking that way as those doors are going to be closing at 5 seconds. There you go. Hypercon, a bit of a sigh of release. You could see him take a breather and say, okay, we secured this under 10 minutes. Can they maybe do another round? You hear them talking about it, and I think if if they're able to, they might be able to go for just a quick another game and maybe secure some extra loot.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure if that was the right move with KARO and Pills. I didn't realize how close, but we do have 534,000 in extraction value for Hyperkind. So it's points on the board. All right, that's something that we see in a round one that we did not see in round one last week. Team TATIS now highly coordinated in a gunfight. We see footsteps. They hear footsteps to their left as they move down this hallway. And I love the way we're seeing Team TATIS and Mitek, Kratos, and Marco, the way they're moving throughout this map. You see, I mean, this is highly coordinated movement with all avenues of approach to their position completely covered with these 4 players, and they're systematically clearing this whole map. It's some serious coordination from a team this early in the event. And so, you know, but TATIS still got to get off the map, and we have one team on the board.
That's the thing, right? They are currently being able to get into a fight. I think they're looking to clear it fully out. But I did see that there was one dead player, obviously not from TATI's team, but from another team there on the ground. So they have at least some loot secure if they're going to be able to loot that body whenever they end up clearing this section of the map right here in the first floor of TV station. But I fully agree with you. I think the chemistry right now, everything, communications, everything is currently on point with this team. They are just looking to clear everything. And I wonder if this team, at this point, they have to commit to just one game. They're not going to have enough time. We switch there to Mitek. They're looking around. They're trying to see if they can find anybody else. When are you going to have maybe TATIS or whoever it is in charge of looting now starting to get that extra loot? Because we know Hyperkind exit, and we know he exited with at least 500 plus K. We also saw one of the other players, Poker Bro, I think exited as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I think only KARO Gaming ended up dying there. She got a little bit too greedy, as she's saying in chat. I got a little bit too greedy, pushed too hard. But oh well, as long as your team got out, as long as you guys secured those points, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, this team showing some serious caution as now, you know, they know they've committed to a 1-game round. And at 6.5 minutes left, I would expect that they should be moving very deliberately towards the extraction at this point. But they have this team on the map. They're constantly hearing those footsteps and seeing them in that direction. And that team being on the map may be enough of a delay to put them into a serious time crunch. I don't think we've seen them activate the extraction point, but we saw them on the red smoke there. So they may have activated already. But, I mean, they got to move quickly here. Under 6 minutes left, and Team TATIS playing this one out completely, having cleared what we expect is the entire map of TV station.
They do, and I think they're still looking for that more people to get into a fight with. They're looking for that extra look. You see some dead bodies right there. I believe those might be bots. But I'm with you 100%. At this point, 5 minutes left. You need to start thinking about your exit plan. You need to start thinking about what you're going to be able to do. You see some backpacks here. You do see some assault rifles at the bottom as well. That one seems to be a little bit heavy. So hopefully there's going to be some extra stuff there. And I wonder if they're going to be making that push there towards elevator. You can see them starting to get set up here. And I'm hoping that's the case, man. You don't want to see a 0, especially with what KARO Gaming and her team were just able to do in this first round. And if I'm KARO Gaming and if I'm her team, at this point, honestly, I hope they didn't even try to go for a second match, because I don't think they would have had enough time with what they were able to do there within that first match. Just 20 minutes. It's just such a quick time when you are in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, and Mitek pushing up here in this gunfight. Team TATIS being somewhat cautious, but continuing to advance in the direction they were just receiving shots from. There's one player down, a potential opportunity for some loot. Oh, that's a bot, but, you know, his backpack is looking full, but not looking super high value up to this point.
Mitek more now fighting here. 5 minutos. That's going to be a bot. I think if anything, they're going to be able to get some of the ammo here from this player, from this bot. At least secure something. You can see him keeping a track there of the timer as well. But, I mean, it's just getting lower and lower. 4 minutes left. When do they decide to go here for the exit? And the only exit available, I mean, the most logical answer is going to have to be elevator exit.
Yeah, that's the extraction point that we saw from 100% of successful extractions last week. That's what I expect the tactic would be from both teams throughout this event. And so that's what we expect this team to do. Now, we just heard MeTech call out that time. They know they're on short time, 3 minutes and 45 seconds, but he sees there's still AI in front of him. This isn't 100% safe, but they've successfully kept all 4 players alive up to this point. And so playing the long game here and playing carefully, but now we are on absolute crunch time. And this is our first stem shot that we've seen from this team so far today. And so I think one of the things we may see them learn throughout this event is to bring more of those red and blue stems, even on a small map, with this time crunch as MeTech clears the way to the extraction. With this time crunch, you have to be able to sprint, you have to be able to move and get things done with every minute, every second that you're on the map. So 3 minutes flat now, seeing if this team can successfully get off the map. Backpack's looking a little light and a little low value up to this point, though.
Yeah, looking very, very light right here. And I'm looking at all of this, and I was hearing what you were saying as well, too. And I like what you were talking about, the stems, the blue stems, the red stems. And I also appreciate that now they're also starting to use that green stem, not having to really worry about pause, take the time to maybe heal. They're just pretty much going to be healing on the go. Obviously, if he does have a broken arm, he's going to have to wait and fix that broken arm. But here at this moment, I feel like they feel very secure with where they currently are at. And I feel like he's not even going to have to worry about that right now. What he's looking for is looking for the extra loot. The only problem here is that he's now starting to overextend. And this is what the rats want out of you, Mod 6. This is what they want you to do. So at any moment, it is going to be a nail biter. And now, is this team going to be able to exit on time? That is the big question mark for me. Are they going to be able to make sure they put in that score just in time for it to count? Oh, man, I don't know. 1 minute and 55 seconds left. They are currently here. They are on the exit. 70 seconds left. I think they are going to be able to exit.
Yeah, late in the game, MeTech was moving around like he was confident it was only bots, and that's what we saw with the bodies laying around him. But with all of these footsteps in both directions and them on the extraction point with over a minute left here, it is rat season. So that's what they're headed up against here. They've got to hold their position. It could be the bots that are activated to move towards the extraction when they're there, but they are worried. They have to be worried about a team trying to ruin their day in the last 2 minutes of this round. But we have, a potential 4-player extraction here and 40 seconds remaining.
Yeah, we're not sure what kind of loot, but I mean, if they do have any loot, I think it's just going to end up coming down to just PvP loot and also those sweet golden ammo, the A1 that the bots end up carrying here, boy, because you can make a lot of money of just looting the bots here in TV Station. I feel like it's definitely one of the maps in Season 3 where you can get the most rich if you are able to extract.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a huge factor that they have 4 players coming off the map right now. Under 10 seconds left. Looks like a pretty safe extraction, but they have some bots right outside the elevator taken care of easily. And with 3 seconds left, those doors close. We have 4 players extracting, and I think that would likely be enough to close the gap on the loot that we got from the vase on Hyperkind. Now, we'll have to see here, get our little preview of what this team might have taken off this map with MeTech's backpack full of magazines. Hoping for some... Oh, it looks like only... 264K from TATIS, and it looked like a 100K number range from MeTech, so not really big numbers from our last team to extract there. This could be very close. We have low value from a team that got all 4 players off of the map with TATIS and MeTech, Kratos and Marco, all in the elevator. But then we have the vase and a high value extraction from Hyperkind. I have no idea how this math is going to work out, Seb.
I don't know either, man. I'm making facial expressions here because I'm trying to do the math in my head, even though I can't do math in my head, so I don't even know why I'm trying. But from what I'm seeing and from what you're talking about too, I mean, they did exit with all their players alive, right? We didn't really get to see much of the engagements. We do know that they definitely won some of those fights. We don't know what the enemy team had. We know what KARO Gaming and her squad was able to do, especially with that vase. The only thing to take back from that is that they only had 10 minutes in, so they're only pretty much banking on that vase. They weren't really able to loot that much. They weren't really able, from what we saw, they weren't really able to get into those engagements, get that PvP loot, which usually, especially in TV Station right now, with how sweaty people are, you are able to get into the higher numbers right there. And with TATIS, with her already exiting with 200k, I can't wait to see what the other teammates from TATIS group ended up exiting with. And I mean, it does end up hurting KARO Gaming that she ended up dying, because I don't know what was in her backpack, and it was a little bit too late for maybe Pills Mayhem to go towards her backpack and pick up what was there. It's just exciting, man. I'm just excited, Mod6, that we got a first round where they were actually able to exit both teams.
Yeah, and you know, talking about both of these teams coming out of round one, like I said before, it's about consistency. And we do see TATIS and her team moving tactically. I mean, coming from a military background, I can't tell you how much I love when I see them clear corners with one on a knee and one standing up. It's beautiful. But we do see big loot value from Team TATIS. That's what it means when you get all 4 players off the map. That consistency, I mean, that's a big gap for our first round score, with KARO coming in with 611,000. Team TATIS doubling the score of Team KARO Gaming.
That is a massive lead, and that's kind of what I was a little bit afraid of, right? With them being able to have so much time within TV Station, and we saw them too. They were being aggressive. They were going from side to side. They were being able to clear rooms. They were also looting, even though the loot, whenever we got a chance to see them, wasn't as high. And you can see, I mean, this could have been a bit of a change maker too, because we don't know what KARO Gaming had extra on her backpack. And the M61, the M62, the M80, I mean, it was nice to see. This was the highlight for me. Hyperkind being able to find that vase and being able to secure it, being able to exit with it. I feel like that's such a huge plus right here. KARO Gaming got a little bit too greedy, made that push, but it's okay. You know what? Your team was able to secure some points. You cannot dwell on that. You can still make a big comeback from this. It is just the first round, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, anything can happen here. All we need is just one golden line, and then we're gonna go chat from saying W TATIS to saying W KARO. So anything can happen here.
Yeah. You know, I love to see the tactical movement and the careful, you know, clearing of all of these rooms and hallways. We saw Mitek just acing some of those bots and some other players as well in those gunfights, but he was doing that backed up by 3 teammates, moving tactically, covering avenues of approach, everybody with assigned lanes, and those corner clearances, like I mentioned before, 1 on a knee, 1 standing, 2 guns around the corner. These guys are highly coordinated, and that's what made the difference after round 1. 4 players extracting 1.2 million in value, a pretty big lead for round 1, but in our experience, that's just because nobody got off the map in round 1 last week, right? I mean, 600k can be turned around by 1 or 2 pieces of loot in any one game. So it's anybody's game. We're going to be hopping right into round 2 here in just a second. I'm slamming my mic around because I'm so excited for it. I mean, last week we saw the lead flip over and over. We could see it again this week, because that lead, while it's a big one for round 1, it's only 600k up to this point.
And honestly, man, I'm excited to see how this strategy is gonna now switch, right? As you guys, some keys right there. I was trying to mix them up. I was trying to not have them be ready, but there you go. You have those keys for everybody waiting for them. Make sure you guys go redeem them in the game. And what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to break down and analyze that first round a little bit more, right? Especially from KARO Gaming's team side. If you could have just had possibly Hyperkind being able to exit, especially if the other players didn't really have that much loot, I feel like if some of these teams are going to be taking notes out of what happened there within that first round, if you do get that high item, if you are able to secure some points, maybe just have that 1 player exit, and then possibly go with the other 3 players, try to keep them within the same map. Because I mean, let's be honest here, Mod6, I don't think 20 minutes you're going to be able to run 2 solid games in TV Station unless you get super lucky. The chances are super low. So I'm hoping if that some of these teams do end up finding a big item, I mean, unless it's the secret document, then you guys do whatever you want to do with that, but just maybe have that 1 player exit and have the other 3 focus on just securing that extra loot and backing him up. Because right now, with what this team was able to showcase, boy, it definitely pays off to have everybody, obviously, to have everybody within the team being able to come out with some loot.
Yeah, it's all about that decision making, and when we have teams making decisions about, you know, hey, does one player extract because they got a high value item?
Yeah.
I think they're going to learn as they go, but they're going to establish some limit in there about what qualifies, right? A golden lion plus, maybe, right? Secret document, absolutely. But there's, you know, it's tough to coordinate a split extraction on this map in such a tight timeline, because that 20-minute timer really is set up to give you a chance at a reset on an early wipe. But if you lose a player or two late, you're not going to get a second game in. We saw that happen to KARO Gaming in our first round. And so I really think that the best tactic in this is to start out with a little bit of aggression, establish yourself on the map, right? Clear a corner of the map, make sure that you're safe. But once you've committed to 5, 6, maybe 8 minutes in, you really have to start moving tactically and a little bit more conservatively, so that as you get into those late minutes, you can guarantee or at least give yourself the highest probability of an extraction. And so I think we've figured out what works most of the time. But hey, you mentioned it. We've mentioned it multiple times. One single loot item can throw that whole best tactic to the wind. So we'll see what happens in round 2. We're going to be hopping into the games, and we'll see what adjustments these teams make after that round 1 experience.
Yeah, and keep in mind, it's easier said than done. All right, we're just sitting back here. We're getting to enjoy the action. I'm getting to break down stuff. But with these players, I mean, they honestly, you don't really have that much time to think about all this stuff unless you thought about it beforehand. And that's why I'm hoping that whether it's the second match or maybe after we do have our first 10-minute break, maybe we'll see some adjustment there from some of these teams. And now looking into this, I think TATIS and her squad might have already ended up getting into a fight, because she is currently sitting here with 2 guns. Oh, you know what? I take that completely back. Oh! Okay, some solar panels, and on top of that, a typewriter as well for TATIS. Okay, a much better loot session here from this room out of TATIS squad.
Yeah, they've got better loot here, and all they have to do is put together a consistent game like they did in round 1. We see these players pretty close to each other. I'm looking to see more stems from this team. As we see, you know, TATIS has painkillers on right now, and I want to see those adjustments as we go. Look at that, stems in the backpack right now, multiple reds and blues. We saw her learn the lesson from being slowed down by the heavy backpack in round 1, but this is the exact same thing we saw from them in our first round as well. Tactically moving through these hallways, clearing their corners, clearing their rooms, and KARO Gaming looks like more of the same, with their players holding these angles and prepping, it looks like, for their first major gunfight in this round. Multiple footsteps in front of them, clearing around these corners, but it looks like they've kind of stalled their movement forward and waiting on some teammates here before they commit to this gunfight.
Yeah, and I think they're a little bit hesitant of which fight they're going to be taking on here, because if there is a team right here, and it's not just the bots there on top, that team could be just camping the stairs that are going to be here to the right of Hyperkind, and that is not a fight that you're going to be wanting to take. It is going to be some players there. Hyper is going to be able to take care of them, but the reason why I'm saying they might not want to take this fight here into the stairs is because it's such an easy place to defend, especially if they are already there. They can maybe just throw some nades, they can maybe just find those angles, and you know what? They're just going to go for it. They're feeling confident right now. They might know that they're currently behind the leaderboard, and they are just going to be going for it. You cannot press that until the 10-minute mark, and that's another exit that is going to be very, very valuable for this team, and kind of why I was talking about, okay, if one player does get a very high valuable item, maybe have them take that elevator exit, have 3 players stay back, because after the 10-minute mark, then they're going to be able to go press that switch that Hyperkind was pressing, and then go to warehouse and take that exit. It is another risky exit, but I mean, at least you're going to be able to possibly secure some extra loot for your team.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hyperkind right now just dropping bodies and clearing corners and communicating with the team, jumping in with Meateg. It looks like they're in a bit of a gunfight, maybe just with some bots, but they have footsteps in all directions. and that they might be a little split up here as well. So a more hectic situation for Team TATIS than for Team KARO Gaming right now. But we saw some big loot on this team already. And so we're going to be looking here as we get into the mid game, seeing these teams, you know, start making some decisions about how aggressive they need to get and, you know, where they're going to clear in order to give themselves the best chances of loot. But we have backpacks dropped, the team making decisions, split up into 2 groups of 2, holding down this hallway as TATIS pushes forward and opens the safe. We have, I mean, the film roll, this, she's got excellent loot this round, and if they put together the same style round they did last time, the loot luck changes. This could be Team TATIS extending the lead in a second round. We'll see about that consistency. We are just over 5 minutes in now.
And instead of that 1.2 million for everybody, it could end up being 1.2 million for just TATIS alone. So definitely a completely different story here. And you were talking about the gunfight that we were seeing out of them. I believe I saw some level 5 on one of the guys that was already killed from the other squad from their enemy. So that's going to be looking like great loot as well. Overall, this team looking for a great start. And it's early on. And on top of that, they had level 6 as well. Level 5, level 6. And you know what that means as well, Mod 6. You know that there's going to be some nice, very nice ammo in there. And boy, if they can find some 995 or maybe some M61. Oh, wait, hold on. Am I seeing this right? Was that a teammate that's knocked? Was that a teammate that was dead? Because isn't all 4 of them already up? Maybe they switch. We're
going to have to see whether or not that's a dead teammate that they're looking at. We do see, I mean, obviously some pretty big armor there, but that may be a teammate that's down. We'll have to confirm because if TATIS, big loot round for her up to this point, but with the potential of only having 3 players to extract, that could be tough. I mean, this is an FAL on this player. There's some real loot value here. And so we're going to have to see, as we see Hyperkind, gunfight after gunfight, this dude doesn't miss this game. I mean, who knows how this round is going to work out. TATIS with big value in the backpack, Hyperkind slaying the entire map right now. We're almost to the halfway point, and we have no idea what the value is in the backpacks from Team KARO Gaming.
Yeah, we have no clue, but I think we might have been actually calling that right, Mod 6. I think it might have been just them switching with the players that they had already killed. And honestly, if I'm them, that's ultimately what they want to do, especially if the other enemy also has level 6. So switch for what they're going to have. Hopefully, you didn't end up destroying all of their armor. And now, on top of that, you're going to have a solid, 300k worth of level 6 armor on you, on top of that of what you're going to be able to loot. Great strategy. We'll have to obviously confirm that here, but if that is the case for TATI's game, it is going to be looking like a great round, as we do have Hyperkind here putting himself in quite an interesting spot. He's going to be right outside reading room, but he needs to be careful because sometimes the squads do end up pushing very slowly out of the elevator side, and he cannot cover all these angles by himself. And right now, from what I'm seeing here, I'm not seeing anybody from his team.
Yeah, it looks like he's alone trying to hold it down. KARO holding an angle as well. And, you know, we see some in the chat about why would you pick up a tier 5 vest and replace your tier 6 with it. Well, in this format, it's all about your extraction loot value, and the vest you're wearing is just one more slot you can fill with enemy loot. So it absolutely makes sense to take an enemy tier 5 over your own tier 6, even if it's more damage than your vest, because that allows you to gain the loot value from that enemy vest, whereas you gain no loot value from the vest you brought onto the map. So these teams maximizing everything. And Hyperkind now knocked. We said he was out on his own, and now he's knocked. The teammates nowhere to be found right now, hopefully moving to his location. There's the first grenade from Pills, locking down this potential revive. But, you know, getting out there alone and unafraid, it's dangerous when you get a little aggressive, as there are footsteps in all directions as they successfully revive Hyperkind and hopefully preserve their chances at a 4-man extraction.
Yeah, and I feel bad for Hyperkind right there, because I think he ended up getting the same treatment that I got one time in TV Station, and that was the boss one of the bosses, especially with that shotgun, ended up surprising me. And I think that's exactly what just happened there with Hyperkind as he was able to get knocked. But guess what? His teammate was able to pick him up. And for a slight chance there, we did see TATIS and her team now going for the exit as well. Now going for the early exit. I wonder if it's going to be the whole squad or if they're maybe going to be leaving 2 players behind, because with 10 minutes left, we saw earlier, we kind of hinted at it with what KARO's team was able to do in the first round. Do you want to leave at least 2 players play out the last 10 minutes of this match, and then on top of that, get that extra loot? Here we go.
Yeah, these players on the extraction point here, I mean, they're going to extract and maybe have enough time to get a second game in. I mean, they'll have to be quicker on game 2. All players on the extraction point here. So here's what I think. I think that with the loot we saw from TATIS, the players saw them down. They were to the point of switching armor. I think they've just had an excellent game. They're full on loot, and that this is going to be a big extension to their lead. So we're going to have to see what we get from Team KARO Gaming in this round. Team TATIS, an early extraction, a successful game, and all 4 players off the map. I just think they got all the loot value that they thought they could fit into their backpacks and got out of there.
Yeah, look at Mitek. Mitek right now is thinking about the timer. He's looking at the timer and seeing, could we possibly maybe go for another game, or do we just decide to wait it out since this could be a solid match? Let's see how much he's going to be exiting with. It's going to be 300k. I mean, for 10 minutes, that is not bad. And that is everybody was able to get at that. TATIS with 430k. And we don't know what the other 2 players exit with. This could be it's definitely going to be more than a 1 million. So it is what we were saying there. It's kind of confirmed, right? Mod 6, what we were talking about, that they were just replacing their level 6 with the armor and the level 6 or level 5, whatever the case might have been, that they found from that fight, that they were able to win against the enemy.
Yeah, downing some players on an enemy team with high-level loot, and TATIS finding those loot items in the safe, that film reel, that typewriter, that, I mean, that's big value from that team. Another extraction that's likely well over $1 million, but Hyperkind, I mean, just on a deadly streak right now. Hills clearing the way as well for the team. And these guys seeming to have a great game as well, but no high value loot items that we've seen. So we'll have to see when the extraction happens, but just firefight after firefight, Hyperkind, KARO Gaming, and the rest of the team successfully clearing this map. So looking like they've made some adjustments already, and that the team coordination is picked up. You see Hyperkind sporting all that tier 6 armor, and you know, these guys looking to extract there pretty soon.
Yeah, and on top of that, I was able to spot there some armor rigs in his backpack, so at least we know they already got some stuff, and I think they might be going for that warehouse exit that I was talking about. They might have thought maybe the elevator exit was a little bit too much of a risk for them, especially with KARO Gaming getting eliminated in the previous match, and they might want to be able to play a little bit safer, looking to get some extra max here. But with this loot, I mean, we don't know what's going to be inside of those armor rigs, and honestly, with what we just saw TATIS team being able to come out with, man, it is going to be quite an insane match 2 here. I mean, I'm at a loss for words, Mod 6, because of how quickly TATIS and her team were able to win a fight, engage that fight, switch all of their armor, switch as much stuff as they can, and then go for that exit. And now here with this squad, they're going to be going for that exit too, but we just don't know what other loot they might have.
Yeah, a more successful game with regard to the gunfights for KARO Gaming so far. We have no idea what the loot value is in the 2 players on TATIS team that we don't get a live view from, like you said. And then again, we're missing the info on the backpacks of 2 players on KARO Gaming. Yep. So it really could swing in any direction. If we look at how consistent TATIS has been, that team is looking like they're going to have at least a 1.5 or 1.6 million extraction value. And KARO Gaming has to cover that and the 600k gap in order to really make this even, to try and stay competitive. But this team, as we see now, 4 players moving tactically down the hallway, taking cover, clearing corners. They've tightened up their movement and gameplay since round 1, actively moving towards those footsteps right now. We heard in the comms talking about extraction. So 6 minutes left. taking their final loot opportunities and potential final gunfight opportunities before we finish up round 2.
Okay, this is what I wanted to get a chance to see here at what KARO has so far in her backpack, and it's not much. And I'm glad that this team is now looking to get at least some PvP fights, maybe looking for the armor, looking for the ammo, looking for the extra guns that they can exit with. They don't have to worry about activating that exit. They already did that. All they have to do is possibly get some extra loot and then actually go for the exit. Overall, man, this is an exciting match with KARO Gaming. You're looking to see just cover that door. And you mentioned it too. I feel like the chemistry within the team, the callouts, the communication overall is definitely a little bit better. You can see them playing a little bit packed. They are currently within the first floor. They are currently within that exit warehouse. They're Hyperkind being able to get some eliminations on some bots, and it's going to be going for some actual real people. Oh, but Pills Mayhem stands in front of him and makes him fold the gun, but ultimately they end up being able to eliminate those two. I think one of those players might have been knocked, so they need to be careful for the rest of the team.
Yeah, clearing corners with 2 players is absolutely the move. They, you know, missed a bit on the coordination, but because Hyperkind was able to get a couple of shots in, as soon as Pills came around, he was shooting at 2 players already wounded. And, you know, communicating right now, they may have teammates in a gunfight. As we see some bullets being fired close to them. Hyperkind with Pills, you know, looking to clear around. It may be the 2 remaining players. KARO now in a gunfight around the corner. They've got 2 players from this enemy team
we need to grab their stuff and like just try to get out.
Players on the team as they are stacked up well, covering all angles. Hyperkind pushing down the hallway. It looks like they've got footsteps above them, but potentially players either to his right or left.
There might be somebody inside kitchen.
And this team caught this. 2 players like Captain Ben caught that spammer in the chat. Get him out of here. Send him back to the lobby. Because this is going to be some easy loot if he's going to be able to secure it. Keep in mind of the timer, though. 4 minutes left. Hopefully somebody is going to be able to cover that kitchen as Hyperkind. He's going to be able to call it out. By the way, I got to give some props here to Hyperkind. The communication from this man so far has been absolute top notch. And I'm loving what I'm hearing out of him. And this player is now going to have 2 weapons on them. This could be some great loot for them. Level 5 helmet, and on top of that, some great guns. This could be massive.
Yeah, this is the big loot opportunity they need to compete. But down now to 3.5 minutes left, and they're dealing with multiple threats in multiple directions. So it's all going to come down to whether or not this team can close out these gunfights or just give themselves some space from the threat as they move towards the extraction, because they're down to just a couple minutes left. And they have multiple things to deal with, as well as, you know, got to get the loot in the backpack. And they just finished the gunfight. So Hyperkind, killer comms, absolutely killing the gunfight. Pills putting in work as well, but they have a lot to coordinate in the final 3 minutes of this round.
Yeah, right now with that 2-2 split, 3 minutes left. The other exit is going to only end up taking, if I'm not mistaken, anywhere between 30 to 20 seconds. You can see here, KARO Gaming trying to find as much stuff as possible. A lot of nades going into this stairs. I think there might be some actual people upstairs. We're not sure if it's going to be bots or real people, but I love that Poker Bro is currently going to be looking at those stairs, covering KARO Gaming. The communication, the 2-2 splits within this team right now are really, really good. And from what we're seeing, I mean, I felt like TATIS and her squad are just going to be focusing on that one game because we really haven't been able to see them since. Which you know what, I'm okay with. Oh, that could be massive. You better put that helmet, you better put that armor rig as well in your backpack as much as you can. But whatever you do not end up getting knocked here. Do not end up getting eliminated. Make sure you secure this loot for your team.
Yeah, I think that KARO had, you know, she reaped the benefit of having the team well placed around her, because she took some shots there, immediately proned, but the threat wasn't there anymore. So she might have got some suppressive fire from the teammate, but lots of looting left to do. Plenty of opportunity for value here with that H-TAC vest, that armored rig. There's a ton of value potential, but not a ton of time left. So KARO now rushing to get the loot in as her teammates cover those angles and protect and give her a little bit of space. Multiple GS2s, the helmets, lots of loot available. They have to get all this loot in the backpack, maximize the value of their space, and with 1.5 minutes left, get to an extraction point. KARO knocks another bot there, and they are moving quickly. Hyperkind and Poker Bro in front of her. Look, the coordination's looking great, but they're really on short time here.
And Pill's currently taking that extra loot as well. They still got those footsteps inside kitchen, which could be a bit worrying. Clearing the restrooms. Hopefully they don't find anybody there with their pants down, as KARO Gaming is going to go and peek on the corner. See if possibly she can find somebody trying to rat them out. Everything looks clear with this. 1 minute left. This team needs to just hurry and go for the exit. Secure the loot. Secure the W. Is it going to be quite enough? We'll have to wait and see. She's going to be taking some extra time to loot here. And man, I'm getting worried. I'm getting worried if it's going to be enough for them with the timer. 40 seconds left. It's getting closer and closer.
It's 19 seconds down.
At least somebody's going to be able to get out. He's 20 seconds left on the extraction.
Okay.
Grab what you can.
Their extraction is perfectly timed with the round timer so that they have about 20 seconds left in the round when they extract. Multiple players on the extraction point. It's all down to a race to see if KARO can make it to... Oh, it doesn't look like she's going to make it.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm running.
19 seconds.
Come to me, come to me. So down hallway, take a left.
Oh, man.
Oh, so he keeps... hopping on and off. Yeah, okay, so this is just the extraction that is available without the timer.
Yeah.
I panicked for a second there. I'm so used to the elevator in this event. This is the first extraction that we've seen that's non-elevator, and a 20-second, 15-second extraction. All 4 players able to get off this map. The countdown timer goes to 0. It's all down to whether or not it was a perfect sync, and if they had time within the timer. So that 2-minute delay from these streamers, the timing with our timer on the screen, it's going to come down to the production team on whether or not they get the extraction value. I mean, honestly, I think they should have taken 2 players off that map 20 seconds earlier just to guarantee something.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the admins just double-checking everything, double-checking the times. A little bit too close for comfort there, as we do end up seeing those double zeros. I believe KARO Gaming ends up saying that it was 19 minutes and 18 seconds, but it's not just based on how long your game was. It's based on when the timer of the admins told you that it was going to start. So we'll have to wait and see if they did secure that on time. 4 players being able to exit. If for some reason, man, they do end up counting, that is massive. We saw some of the loot that at least 1 player, I believe it was Hyperkind, being able to exit right there. That is going to be massive, considering that they're now trying to close that gap that TATIS and her squad were able to do there in that first game. I don't think I have any more nails, okay? I was biting my nails as soon as that timer hit 00, and they're still looting over there by kitchen. I'm like, oh, okay, what's going to happen here? I can't wait to see if that's actually going to end up counting or not.
Listen, I'm betting that score counts because KARO did have a 19-minute and 18-second game. It all comes down to whether or not they started the game on time. If so, then that one goes in the books. Yep. And if that's the case, listen, Hyperkind is the MVP of that round if that was a successful extraction. He led the way to the extraction at the end. We watched from his perspective as he dropped multiple threats. I mean, clearing through, even when it's only a bot that they're going up against, what matters is momentum through those gunfights so that you can continue to clear across the map.
Yep.
And I mean, Hyperkind and Pills, a late gunfight to maximize the loot opportunity. We saw that tier 5, tier 6 coming off of those players. That could be a huge, huge game for Team KARO Gaming. But we definitely saw Team TATIS, 4 players successfully come off the map. An early successful game with big loot value.
Here we go. The recap. Okay, they do end up counting 1.6 million there from Team TATIS, and for KARO Gaming, it is going to be a solid 1 million for them. But I mean, we got to keep in mind, Team TATIS had what, a 600k lead after the first round. Right now, they have a 600k lead just on this round alone. It's going to be a 1.2 million lead. If I'm Team KARO Gaming, if I'm Hyperkind, Poker Bro, and Pills Mayhem, man, I'm going to be rethinking my strategy, and I'm going to be rethinking on what we're going to be doing there, because 1.2 million, if I'm doing the math right, is going to be quite a gap to close, especially if we're not seeing any golden lions like we saw last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, this could flip in any direction. Team TATIS could go down to a geared team in a gunfight, but they've been ultra consistent up to this point. And so Team TATIS extends the lead by another 600k there. KARO Gaming maximizing every minute of the timer, and this is Hyperkind. We saw him do that throughout the match, lead the way in those gunfights, clear all the bots, clear players. He downs the boss there, and then he downs 2 players later on. But this is the risk of that. He got a little overextended, and his team was able to get there just in time to get that revive. But early success from Team TATIS. Mitek, plenty of loot value, and they extend that lead and only need about half the time to do it.
Yeah, and I'm going to take a second here to start just nitpicking this fight, especially that fight right there. You could see, and this usually happens with players that maybe don't play too often, and sometimes even with players that you do play often with, because that step up in front of Hypercon by Pills Gaming, that could have cost them a lot, especially if those players would have been actually expecting them to peak there. It could have been a very, very interesting lesson that could have happened there for that team, especially with Hyperkind's gun starting to fold and him not really being able to fully see where the fight was happening, and if he was actually able to hit those players on the opposite team. So little things like that is, I feel like as we go on through the tournament, they're definitely going to end up improving on, especially with Pills. I know he's a great player. I know he's going to realize what he did there, being able to step in front of his teammate and not allowing him to shoot. He's probably going to be able to either maybe take some turns, maybe one stands back a little bit further and they actually peek at the same time, or maybe one of them peeks as one of them jumps out. Anything, there's so many strategies here that can happen in Arena Breakout, and I think that's why we are so addicted to this game, because you can play as many hours as you want to, and there's always going to be that one player that's going to show you something new, no matter if you have 1,000 hours played in Arena Breakout.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw Team KARO Gaming tighten up the movement, tighten up the tactics, and be more successful in every gunfight as a result of that. And so what we're getting into now, what's making the difference between these two teams and what makes them successful, is all of those little micro tactics, how they clear corners, what the maximum space they allow between teammates is. And, you know, we see KARO Gaming tighten that up a lot from round 1 to round 2. I expect them to continue to do that. And what that resulted in was a consistent game, maximized the opportunity they had on the map, and they kept the score close enough so that they're fully still in the game right now. 1.2 million is one secret document, and either of these teams on TV station lockdown zone could run into a gunfight that is a little more than they want to handle. So we've got our first 10-minute break coming up, and then we jump right into round 3. I think both of these teams need a breather with how tight this competition is and how stressful some of these games and these gunfights are on TV station. And yeah, I'm excited for the action here when we get back from the 10-minute break. 7, we got a lot going on right now. A 1.2 million gap going into round 3.
Teams need a breather. Brother, we need a breather, because that was some intense gaming right there.
Yeah, we're going to jump into the 10-minute break now, and we will see you as soon as we get back and hop right into round 3 on TV station with both of these teams.
As soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got a job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just employee outposts. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Kimona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head to head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Brusk controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can.
The area is about to be cordoned off.
It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but at what cost? It pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. Let's know what it is.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
Choice. At least I kept a roof over my head here, but food on the table. Why are you here?
Take this. Lieutenant's orders.
Wolfman, we got the situation here. Something's up. I think we got trouble.
Entrance clear. Moving to the rendezvous.
Intruders! Through the main entrance! Go for backup now! Move the hallway! And in the opposite! Good night! Down! Cover me! Suppressing fire! Hang in there!
We're in that asshole!
Target down!
Just do your fucking job. All units, move up! Eat shit! Get down! Keep moving! Quit playing with your food for fuck's sake! Why didn't I take you out? We're in position at the east entrance. The power's back. Need time to break in.
Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated
Ava, you said there's nobody here.
Mouth stop, boys!
Cover me!
Hold position!
I can't breathe!
Get to the second floor! The rest follow me! Get off the first floor! We need reinforcements! Sir, we can't hold any longer!
about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak. Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated personnel are to be immediately. The area is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak.
As soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got a job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just employados. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Kimona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head-to-head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Bresk controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can.
The area is about to be cordoned off.
It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but at what cost? It pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. Let's know better than the
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
We are back for round 3 of 5 in our series tonight. We have Team TATIS up against Team KARO Gaming. This is the Valkyrie clash, 2 female content creators teaming up, 2 teams of 4 going head to head. And where we are with this competition, Team KARO Gaming now has a decision to make. Team TATIS has their tactics worked out. They've done the exact same thing 2 games in a row. They hit their loot ceiling early in round 2 and got off the map. But Team KARO Gaming has a decision to make. How aggressive do we get to close a 1.2 million coin gap in the lead? You know, they've worked their tactics out. They're moving tactically. They were more successful in that second round. But 7... they're down by 1.2 million coin. How aggressive do you get to close that lead?
I feel like at this point, they have gotten blessed in the first round, especially with Hyperkind being able to find that vase. So you definitely know that the loot is out there. But with the way things are going so far tonight, I feel like they try to maybe focus a little bit more on the PvP side. They try to go for that PvP loot and become maybe more aggressive. They just need to make sure they are on top of their game when they are going to be aggressive. They need to make sure that they are not stepping in front of each other and folding each other's guns, because that could just be so costly, man. And something, we're talking about golden lions, we're talking about secret documents, but I want to see here in round 3, it's going to be some keys for TV Station, because there is some keys up there that are like 400k, 500k, and all it takes is just one spot in your backpack, which is going to allow even more space for extra loot.
Yeah, and we're going to hop into round 3 right now. And Arena Breakout is a game where you make your own luck, right? It's that consistency, that aggression, that momentum through the gunfight, hitting your shots, getting those headshots, and consistency that allows you to get those loot opportunities, allows you more success to get off that map, get the extraction in our 20-minute time limit. Now, we are a couple of minutes in now to both of these teams, already into the gunfight. And you said it, we have our first key, not super high value, but let's see if they continue this trend with keys for loot, as TATIS going through this room, looting every pocket, every drawer, every opportunity. These teams with pretty solid comms up to this point, and it's all going to come down to who can consistently clear more of that map and consistently get off of the map inside our time limit.
All right, well, you know what? If I'm manifesting some keys, I want to start manifesting some golden lions. So everybody currently watching the live stream, make sure you put some lion emojis in the chat. Let me see them lion emojis in the chat, because we want to manifest a golden lion here for whoever it might be, for TATIS, for KARO Gaming. I honestly don't care. I just want to see more of those golden lions. I want to see if maybe possibly we can break that record and see that 3 mark that we were talking about earlier. And now they're going to be moving towards commander office and seeing if they can possibly find a golden lion there, because sometimes the golden lions are sitting. Oh, Hyperkind's actually dead. As we switch over to him, you know what? Forget about that golden lion talk. He ends up getting eliminated with 2 minutes in, and now it's a bit of a turn of events here for KARO, as KARO was a little bit farther away from her team. They're going to be switching gears, and they are going to be starting to focus here on the fight. KARO was posting herself there to where the player was. She had no idea. A bit of a bad communication here from this team, and oh, not a great start for KARO Gaming and her squad.
Yeah, smooth sailing so far for Team TATIS, as they're just looting and chilling, where we see Hyperkind. He goes down, and they're engaged in a gunfight with a team that looked to be geared and looked to be set up on an angle down that hallway. So we'll see what the outcome of that gunfight is from Team KARO Gaming, but with one player down early in the match, they have a decision to make. I think with 3 up, you try and play it out and get off the map, maybe as early as 12 or 13 minutes and get a quick reset. But Hyperkind has to stay in the game. He has to spectate his teammates for 2 reasons. Number one, that puts that all on a level playing field for reset in between the map and really focuses on, team coordination to maybe get a second game in. But then let's see what this loot is, as Mitek, nothing too valuable. He got excited there for a second, but, it also gives us the perspective of those other teammates that we can watch as they progress through the round. So we'll look and see what Team KARO Gaming decides to do, whether they go for the quick extract now, whether they play this whole thing out with 3 players. But right now, we just see Team TATIS and Mitek running around like they own the place.
I like what they're doing here. I really enjoy this. Somebody was able to call out that there is people currently in reading room, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Mitek is going to be going for the reading room stairs that are going to be within the first floors, and maybe try to surprise him that way, throw some grenades, as you saw him being able to get those grenades ready. If they're able to execute this to perfection, this could be a massive boost in regards to their points as well. And shout out to everybody that was spamming the golden lions. We didn't manifest the golden lion. We ended up manifesting a fight, and sadly Hyperkind ended up getting eliminated, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to recover from that. As here we go with the push. They know that they are currently going to be in reading room. The callouts have been made. They're playing a little bit more patient. They got to make sure that they don't end up flashing each other there with those flashlights, boy, because it can definitely make you blind. Popping those painkillers, saying go, 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 and here comes the push. And they gotta watch out. Oh, Flash is coming in, and a perfect Flash going up against Mitek. That's gonna hinder him, as they're now trying to make that push upstairs, but they know that they're making this push. I thought it was gonna be a 2-2 split. It might have been a bit of a miscommunication here out of these 2 teams.
Yeah, we see the first grenade from Mitek here, and they're fighting up a hill. There is a significant disadvantage to fight from the low ground up to the high ground to a team that's defending from what is essentially a solid rat spot here. So Mitek trying to navigate this as he brings the grenades out, and he's picking his angles carefully here, and that's the only reason he's still alive. They landed that flash perfectly, but his positioning is what saved him. So, they're trying to figure out how to solve this puzzle, but they have grenades coming down from the high ground. They've got only one angle that they can approach this from. I'm surprised they're staying stuck in on this gunfight as he goes up into library. They've got players down in all directions, plenty of gear. They haven't taken care of the threat. I mean, where'd these players go? Did they kill them all with grenades?
They killed them all. That was a beautiful grenade there by Mitek, and something that I saw is he was able to find the trail from one of the stuns, and he threw a grenade perfectly where that player was. He was able to get eliminated, and now Mitek is trying to find for the other players that might have been currently hiding. You can see that they feel like it's not clear yet. They feel like there's still some people out there lingering, but if I'm not mistaken, if that was not one of the players from their squad, they are going to have some tier 6 loot to go towards them, and this could be an even bigger massive lead after round 3 for TATIS and her squad. And now Mitek just being a little bit more careful. You can see there TATIS already going for that extra loot, looting all those players that they were able to eliminate. Overall, great engagement here out of this team, man. Very impressed with the way that they were able to play that out, and the way that Mitek, I gotta say it again because it was just so good. He was able to identify where that nade was coming from, where that stun was coming from, and throw a perfect MK2 nade towards there and being able to eliminate a player.
Yeah, Mitek plays a very difficult situation perfectly. Fights from the low ground up that single staircase. I mean, perfect nades. Hey, I'll take it in any situation. KARO now trying to navigate this threat. She sees footsteps over here, but it looks like she's a little split off from the team. Pill's a bit behind her, and Poker Bro even further back behind him. So she's going to pull back to Pills here, and they've got a tough situation. One player down. We haven't seen a crazy amount of loot in the backpack yet. And so, and now Mitek gets downed. He's not out of the fight yet, but these footsteps right on top of him as he calls out to the team. They're moving in his direction, but they're still just enough. They're going to have to cross the threat in order to get to him.
And that is a risky push from this team. You can see the confidence out of them. The smokes are going to be coming in. I feel like they are going to be able to maybe recover Mitek right here. A scary situation as he was getting knocked, but great recovery from their team, telling them, you know what, just jump out of there and make sure you pick me up because I want to go destroy these players that are trying to rat us out. Just great recovery, and I mean, this is what we've been talking about out of this team. The way they're able to communicate, the way the chemistry is currently working out, you can see it's definitely a massive advantage for them. TATIS being able to revive him there and now switching their focus to where possibly the other team might have been, the other players that are lingering around. Here we go. TATIS being able to spot some footsteps. Is he going to be able to make that turnaround? Is there going to be a player right there? It's not. It's actually going to be a little bit further towards the south.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of risky push to revive him only works if you do it with zero hesitation.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we saw from the team. TATIS then continues to move aggressively here as we see her trying to optimize that loot situation. But now, again, they're a little bit spread out. So we're going to see if this is the tactic where they stay just far enough apart where they can react to each other. But it looks like we see Team TATIS picking up the aggression at this point, while we see Team KARO Gaming kind of in a tough situation with one player down and in a difficult gunfight. So TATIS now with the pick of the loot, and things are looking up. Solid momentum for her as KARO Gaming goes down. We see her screen fade under 10 minutes left. This is looking like an absolute tragedy of a round for Team KARO Gaming. We have no idea how many players they have up or left in this game, but I mean, less than 10 minutes, 7. I'm not sure if they have time for a second round.
I don't think it's going to be enough time, and I don't know if Pills is still alive. I don't know if Poker Bro is still going to be alive too, because when we got a chance to see when KARO Gaming was still alive, I only saw Pills and I only saw KARO Gaming, so I don't know who else is alive out of that team. I mean, we know Hyperkind definitely got eliminated early on, but now KARO getting eliminated as well. That is a massive, massive disadvantage for them. A team that's currently trying to close that lead, and it's not working out in their favor. Meanwhile, we have the complete opposite when we go to TATIS, when we go to Mitek, 6 Rados, and Marco DG, because they're just taking their sweet time to live. They were able to clear the area from what they were able to gather, and now it's just time of, okay, you know what, let's manage our time. Let's make sure we do end up getting this exit and make that lead even longer for KARO and her squad. Oh man, it's gonna be tough. it's going to be really, really tough to make a comeback because now the pressure is going to be on them. And now it might actually force them, Mod6, to do riskier plays, to do stuff that they might not be used to. And we know from what KARO was telling us from our interview that she usually likes to be a little bit more passive. She usually likes to be a little bit more tactical. So I wonder if that's actually going to push her to be even more aggressive. And then you're kind of exposing yourself to maybe being surprised, maybe getting set to a trap.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mentioned before this match started that they're going to be in a situation where they have to decide how aggressive they get to close the gap and retake the lead here. But now I think that decision's been made for them. They're going to have to get aggressive, and it's all going to come down to how they are able to handle that. Are they able to keep it together and still win gunfights by taking more risk on this map in order to get that loot opportunity? Because, Mitek and TATIS, they've cleared most of this map. Every threat hasn't been taken care of yet, but they've downed enough players in these gunfights that they have their pick of the loot. There it is. Shoots to the high ground again. Mitek is just addicted to fighting from a disadvantageous position, but it looks like he can handle it with those near perfect shots.
I mean, if you're used to fighting with that kind of disadvantage and you keep doing it over and over again, it might start becoming your advantage at one point, especially if you just keep winning those fights. And just to kind of put a point there, yeah, it's not looking good for KARO Gaming and her squad, but anything can happen here, man. I mentioned it earlier. There is secret documents in TV Station. There is very high valuable items in TV Station, and all it takes is just a couple to make a big flip within that overall loot that they are currently rocking. So anything can happen here. I don't wanna be like, okay, you know what, this is gonna be super difficult for them to catch up, because with what we've seen in the past and what we saw last week, I mean, it can come down to that last game, and it can come down to possibly maybe some keys, some golden lines, a vase. We saw Hyperkind being able to get a vase earlier too, so anything can happen here.
Yeah, and Mitek moving with confidence right now as he clears these corners and gets himself to the safe. Not a ton of loot value, but this is what it takes to give yourself the opportunity to get those high value items. I mean, he is aggressively clearing these areas. The team has great communication up to this point, and a document, not a secret document. My heart jumped for a second there, but that's something that could absolutely close this down and push KARO Gaming into a really difficult situation, is if we see a key loot item come up here for Team TATIS, and they're absolutely giving themselves that opportunity.
Yeah, with me taking the squad here, hopefully they're still keeping track of that timer. Hopefully they have their plan ready on which way they're going to be exiting. They are currently a bit far from elevator, but they are closer there towards that warehouse exit. I'm not sure if it has already been pressed, the switch to be able to exit over there. We'll have to wait and see, as now they're just making sure that they secure any loot here that is available towards them, whether it's from a bot, whether it's from another enemy, whatever the case might be. They're making sure that all this loot goes towards this backpack. And as we have been looking at this team for quite a bit, I'm wondering if maybe I think everybody from KARO Gaming side might have ended up getting eliminated, so that could possibly end up being a big zero here from this squad, and they're gonna have to bring it. They're gonna have to bring it big time when we end up going to round 4 and round 5. And I'm excited, man, because I cannot wait to see how that team, which has a lot of great players within that roster, is gonna be able to react to the current pressure that is on their shoulders.
Yeah, and Mitek moving heavy right now, slow with a full backpack, but these guys clearly moving towards their extraction point, looking to finish this game out successfully. And I bet we're going to see some hyper aggression from Team KARO Gaming. They know they're going to have a deficit to overcome now, because if all 4 players are down, and we, that's highly likely, as we haven't seen their perspective from their team for a little while now, and Team TATIS gets a big high value extraction here. If they're multiple millions of coin down in the score, that is going to push them into a zone where they think, hey, maybe we need to get 2 successful extractions in a single round to close the gap. And that takes a hyper-aggressive strategy to do that.
Yeah, great smoke there by Mitek, making sure that if anybody does end up pushing them, they're not going to be able to see absolutely anything. And that's something, you know what? I want to take a second to call that out for everybody currently watching and throwing those smokes, because I have seen smokes being used as a big mistake. They usually throw it on themselves, and then they end up being the ones that are absolutely blind. great play there by Mitek, making sure that they do end up getting that exit, but only 145,000. Okay, 396,000, and we can't wait to see what the other players from this squad are going to end up exiting with, but not the high numbers that we saw earlier. And Pills Mayhem is still alive. We do have a player alive currently from this team. 2 players alive. PokerBro still alive as well.
Oh, the 2 that have managed to survive, holding out into the final 3 minutes here. They have 137 seconds until the extraction. So they've got over 2 minutes that they need to hold this position. Not an easy position to hold, and they only have 2 players to do it. But, I mean, they're taking an active approach here. I would hate to just see 2 players chilling in the elevator at this point, thinking they have the game won. Team KARO Gaming giving themselves a chance to minimize, Team TATIS' opportunity to extend that lead.
Yeah, and if they can at least exit with something, whether it's 100K, anything is going to be much better than a 0, as we have seen in the past. You don't want to make that disadvantage even greater for them. And I enjoy what I'm seeing there now. 90 seconds left. You know what? They're saying, okay, do we stay there? You know what? Let's keep watching some angles. So good communication here. A bit of frustration there from Hyperkind. It's okay, Hyperkind. Trust me, it happens to all of us, especially in TV station. The fights are quick. The PvP is a lot faster. And I think he just called it out. I think he ended up getting ratted out.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they're down to about a minute here, and it's looking a lot more likely. All of these footsteps they see at this point are highly likely to be the bot response to the extraction. And so I think that this team is likely to get these 2 players off the map successfully, and it really all comes down to what loot they were able to pick up. 2 players can easily pull off $1 million+ loot from this map on lockdown zone, but they've been under pressure for the entire round. They dealt with a rat. They lost 2 players at pretty early points in this match, and these 2 are able to still activate the extraction, still make it to elevator, down to less than 30 seconds left. How much are 2 players who've played a high intensity game without a lot of time and a lot of space, how much have they given themselves a chance to minimize that lead that Team TATIS comes out of round 3 with?
Yeah, and I was hoping, man, that it wouldn't happen. I was hoping we wouldn't see an appearance out of them. By the way, Pills Mayhem does end up having 2 weapons with them. I don't know if they ended up winning that fight against the rat or what happened, or if maybe it's their teammate. Possibly they could exit with some loot right here. We'll have to wait and see. Hyperkind obviously is going to end up exiting with a big O0. And Hyperkind and KARO Gaming both ended up getting eliminated by the same player. Overall, I mean, at least you got 2 players out within your roster, so hopefully if you cross your fingers, they're going to be able to exit with some loot on their bodies. We'll have to wait and see what the actual scores are going to be. Mitek's already out, and one thing I didn't want to see, but it ended up happening. That's right, Mod6, the
rats are out. The rats are out.
Appearance.
It's tough. One of the most frustrating possible things we could see, we mentioned it at the beginning of the stream, is a player dying to rats late in the round. So limited with what your options are up to that point, and nobody likes to see the rats win, man. Nobody likes to see the rats win, but thankfully, KARO Gaming has 2 teammates able to make it off the map. We'll see the round update for the score here in just a minute, and it really all comes down to how much Pills, and PokerBro were able to loot in those final couple of minutes.
Yeah, and the thing too is that usually we tend to see rats towards the later stage of the game, right? Like you were mentioning. But that was fairly early, man. That was super early, and you have to be careful if you're going to be taking on those fights early on. And with what we were talking about, I was alluding to it at the start of the event as well today. It's been a week now since TV station's been out. We're going to start seeing a lot more angles being held, a lot more people finding a certain corner that they're comfortable with. And you know what? As much as we might hate those rats, it is a playing style. For everybody that's not confident out there, doesn't have those brass knuckles on them to take on those early fights, they can definitely play like that. But you know what? Let's look at the recap for this one, and it's going to be 1.1 million for Team TATIS. But hey, you know what? At least they were able to exit with something there for Team KARO Gaming with 262,000.
Yeah, that the points or the win, the lead, it widens here. Yep. Obviously, Team TATIS having more success. The lead extends now to over 2 million coin. We've talked about it up to this point. It all comes down to how aggressive Team KARO Gaming is willing to get to try and close that gap. Still feasible gap to close, but that's a big deficit to have to overcome with only 2 rounds left. So we'll see what they do. It's absolutely possible. Everybody knows the secret documents in this game. We've seen multiple golden lions up to this point, and Hyperkind, unfortunately, goes down 2.5 minutes or so into the round. Absolutely heartbreaking. Both these teams, though, feeling the pressure of this 20-minute time limit, as we saw Mitek just fight straight uphill to close that gunfight out.
Yeah, and I think he was that player that was eliminated there on his screen, that was laying down. It was definitely a player from the other team. So great play, honestly, out of Mitek, out of Team TATIS, out of everybody within that team, because in that fight, in reading room, library, whatever you want to call it, as the names are going to be changing depending on who you play with, it was so well done. Different angles, different positions. You saw a team, 2 players from the top pushing, and then you saw 2 players from the bottom pushing with those nades as well, getting those different angles. Communication is key, and that is something that we are going to continue to see, especially at a Team TATIS. Continue to see that great communication, continue to see that great chemistry within them, and continue to make those pushes and be aggressive. And now, I think it's time. I think it's time we start seeing that aggressiveness out of KARO Gaming, out of Pills Mayhem, Hyperkind, and Poker Bro as well, because we need it. We need to see that PvP loot. If they can maybe clear a lobby, and I know it's possible because I know I've seen some players being able to do it. Clear a lobby early on, and then you have a solid possibly 50 minutes to just loot every room. And boy, the options are endless on what you could possibly find behind those safes.
Yeah, absolutely. An early aggressive strategy, when it works, gives you the greatest opportunity for loot. And it's a tough decision to make, though, up to this point in the match. Now, we've got some more CD keys coming up, so we've given you the advance warning. Log into the game, hit that events tab. 10 more codes coming at you here. There they are. Listen, we see all of the integrity from the 7WG up to this point, as he's got hands in the air showing you we're not competing for those codes. They're out there, folks. Let us know if and when you get that ammo bundle and get yourself into TV Station. See if you can compete on the level you see some of these content creators out there tonight.
Yeah, and I love that some people in the chat are trying to be nice as well. Ravenous saying, you know what, leave those codes for the teamies. They definitely need them the most. They definitely do. But I mean, if you're able to get yourself some good stuff out of those codes, just might as well, redeem them. And if you do end up redeeming one of them, let us know in the comments. That way you get a nice little shout out. Going into game 4, I mean, we said it multiple times. I think we have to say it again here, Motex. We got to see a little bit more aggression out of KARO Gaming. We got to see them maybe being a little bit more compact. We have seen them being a little bit more compact earlier on in the second round. I believe it was where we saw a great push out of them towards the end of the round. But here, going into this one, it's going to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit of more high tempo out of this team, and just try to improve anything you can, try to get anything you can, because they need the loot. They need it bad.
Yeah, absolutely. And it comes down to how successful you are in those early gunfights, and if you can pick up that momentum. And so that's what we're going to be looking to see from Team KARO Gaming, is just knocking out early gunfights, picking up some momentum, and then continuing with that momentum all the way through the game. And that's what Mitek was able to successfully do for his team in the last round. He fought from some positions of disadvantage, but he overcomes that disadvantage, and the team overcomes that disadvantage with numbers and tactics, right? And we saw that with the grenade usage. We saw that with basically perfect movement with the right amount of cover at the right time. And so that's what it takes. We're going to hop into the next round and see if, in round 4, Team KARO Gaming can overcome that 2.1 million coin lead disadvantage that Team TATIS has. And, looking to see the same consistency from Team TATIS we've seen all night.
Yeah, and out of this team, I mean, they're just looking to get into fights early on. And shout out to that Place. He said he ended up getting 4 codes. That, You got way too much stuff on that inventory, okay? Let some of the teamies have it. And shout out to Juggernaut Gear MK14 because he ended up getting one of the codes as well. So good job on everybody participating within those codes. And you can see here Team TATIS and her squad now making that push towards that second floor. They're going to be looking to get into that general office and at least try to get those early director's office, early rates. And I think they might have been fighting real people. We'll have to. Oh no, it's a bot. It's a bot. Okay, you confused me there, MeTech. He gave out a confident saying that there was a real player, and I think one of them might have been actually real.
Seeing some early aggression from MeTech, and I think this is key to the overall strategy, is that early aggression to really lock down the area of TV station that you spawn in, give yourself some decent opportunity for loot early in the game, and that's what we've seen from Team TATIS so far. No check-in so far with Team KARO Gaming, but we're looking to see them do the same thing.
Yep.
Decent loot value so far from those players, though, from Team TATIS.
Yeah, we have Hyperkind leading the charge here. There's going to be some bots there already. He needs to be careful because once he peeks here, remember what happened earlier? He got a bit caught off guard, and I think he's currently having a little bit of a flashback on what happened earlier. There you go. A bot's going to be able to surprise him. He doesn't currently have a... Oh, his magazine was empty. That has happened to all of us. Okay, Hyperkind, don't worry about it. You will be surprised how many times I have died from not loading up a mag or from not even having a mag in my gun. Luckily, you were able to return the situation right there, and now they're taking the fight here with some of those bosses. If they are able to get the loot from those bosses, if they don't end up finding any extra loot, those bosses do carry some good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, you know, those mistakes happen, but what's absolutely key is that you have multiple people clearing those corners or you don't survive that situation. And that's what we see here from Hyperkind and KARO Gaming. As they clear through this area, you know, Hyperkind, the fact that he has to heal this much, though, does slow down their momentum. And we're back here with TATIS as she continues to loot. Clearly some solid loot from these players and bots that they've downed so far, but she takes some shots there, taking some legitimate damage. No body parts broken.
Okay, it was a bot, and if you want me to tell you something, it's not looking good for KARO Gaming, because if I heard that right in Spanish, somebody just said another golden lion. Somebody in this team could have just possibly found another golden lion, meaning that earlier they ended up getting a golden lion as well. And boy, if that is the case, that is gonna be quite a big lead even here on the fourth round, and a great start for this team, because not only do they already get the PvP done, as we can see right here, a player that this team loves to get into those fights early on, and on top of that, you're gonna get a golden lion. It's looking good for TATIS team in this round 4.
Yeah, I mean, the chat is playing with my emotions right now, saying that Team TATIS has 2 lions in the inventory. And so, you know, if that ends up being accurate, that there we see MeTech with the golden lion in the backpack. That's a huge swing for Team TATIS. That, I mean, if there's 2 golden lions, that's over $1 million or around $1 million in total value. Massive lead for them if that's the case.
And how risky is this team? We saw what happened earlier in round 1 when KARO Gaming and her squad was able to find a vase. They were able to go straight for the exit. Is this team gonna be rolling the dice here? Are they gonna be playing with the RNG, maybe possibly playing with some rats as well? As we see, I mean, the confidence on this man, dude, it's insane.
Yeah.
This man has a golden line in his backpack, and he's the one leading the charge. He is the one cleaning the rooms. That is insane.
Last week's experience coming in handy for MeTech.
You want me to translate for you what just happened?
What's happening right now? Because we see a big reaction from the team.
They found a vase. They found a vase because somebody just called it out. They said vase, and then you heard MeTech's reaction saying, oh, and that is the right reaction for it. Now with this team, yes, all of that is good, but guess what? It doesn't matter if you're not able to extract. So now, I'm not even gonna say they got pressure on them, as they have a bot looking straight at them. I would have panicked right there. I would have probably been screaming if I would have seen somebody just standing there aiming at me. But they need to make sure they end up extracting, because the loot that they have right now, I mean, when we end up going to the final match, Mod6, it's going to take a secret document out of KARO Gaming to be able to beat this squad. And it could be possible. Trashy found one. Anything is possible.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge value for them. And I said earlier in the game, you know, you make your own luck in this game. And we saw rounds with Team TATIS that had moderate loot value, right? 1.2 million in value from the first game when they basically played that game perfectly. And it's really being able to do that over and over again consistently. Mitek under a little bit of pressure here, but it looks like bots and not a major problem for them. But yeah, that consistency, being able to move across the map, stay coordinated among your teammates, handle all of those gunfights. I mean, Mitek with ultimate confidence,
golden
doing
necklace.
that over and over again. What is this?
Hyperkind had a golden necklace. Sorry to cut you off right there, but as soon as I saw it, I got really, really happy because that's going to be a good thing for this team that's currently trying to close that lead. Hyperkind with the golden necklace in his backpack. That is at least something. The lead won't be super insane, and we don't even know what the other team has. I mean, he does have an M4 right now on himself as well. Okay, not a bad match so far here for KARO Gaming and her squad as well.
Yeah, absolutely huge for them to pull every major loot item that they can out of this game, because a massive game for Team TATIS so far. Every single value and coin that they can find in this round will matter, because they are going to have to eat into that lead somehow, do something about it in this round to give themselves a reasonable chance in our round 5. Coming up on the halfway point here, we're at under 11 and a half minutes, and we're looking to see something crazy come from Hyperkind in this round. One golden necklace isn't going to do it. It's a start, but he's got to get multiple gold loot items. He's got to down a team. They've got to pull something crazy off in this round to keep up.
Yeah, if I'm Hyperkind, if I'm KARO Gaming, next event, I'm going to be looking to possibly take a vacation to Mexico so I can play it not only while drinking a nice solid margarita, but hopefully I can get some of this Latin luck, because my goodness, Latin America, the loot that you guys have been getting so far has been absolutely insane with what they've been able to pull here. But it's going to come down to them being able to get this squad, and you can see them now trying to go for that exit, now making sure that they secure at least some stuff. A golden line, 2 golden lines, a vase. Okay, now they're just showing off. Now they're just trying to go for that record. You asked for it. We asked for it. By the way, oh my God, you know what I just realized, Mod6? We manifested it. We did say
we have 2 golden lions. It takes one more golden lion and we'll have a record for the number found in the event. And TATIS here going through these backpacks, giving us a show, fits 2 golden lions and 1 vase into the backpack, in addition to those 2 antenna, tons of ammo that she's going to be bringing off this map. Some of that hers, but some of it loot as well. So they're optimizing every spot in the inventory because they have plenty of valuable items to take off of this map. And it looks like they're in complete control with 60 seconds left. And now we see KARO and Pills. We see the perspective of this team as they move towards the extraction as well.
Yeah, and this is gonna be insane here. They're gonna need to get into a fight with some level 6 people and make sure that they are on top of that, carrying some great ammo. But I was gonna say earlier, we kind of manifested it. Not only did we wanted 3 golden lines, but at the beginning of this round, if I'm not mistaken, we were telling chat to spam those golden lines in the chat. Okay, I need to start doing that for everybody that streams out there, creates content for Arena Breakout. Y'all need to, before you go into a match, just start telling your chat to spam some golden lines, because apparently that works.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're calling for it here, and they managed to find 2 of them. We're late in the event. That's exactly what we said. We love to see those late golden lions, but that puts Team KARO Gaming into an even more difficult situation as TATIS here celebrating in the elevator in the final 3 seconds as those doors close. We can't wait to see the loot value, because she put all of the most valuable items into her backpack to give us that shot of that huge number after this successful extraction. Plenty of time left as well. Another pretty early extraction from her team as they, max out their opportunity. 1.7 million in a single backpack 7. This is huge extension of their lead.
That is massive, and I wish we had some kind of records for what has happened so far in previous Golden Lion Legion Rivals events, because this team could possibly have a combined loot that could just have currently the record for the most extract within a team in one game alone. That is just insane. 1.7 million as we go over now to Hyperkind and his squad, and they're looking to clear. They're looking to make sure they take advantage of every single time possible. Somebody's going to be shooting behind of them, and he's going to be able to make sure he clears that body. I think KARO Gaming might have ended up getting eliminated, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, KARO Gaming and Poker Bro are currently eliminated. Not looking good here for this team.
Oh yeah, 2 players down now, and after TATIS puts up huge numbers in this late 4th round, Hyperkind under all kinds of pressure. He's carrying the valuable loot from this team, but you know, they've got 7 minutes to close this one out, and they've got half of the opportunity with 2 players down and no real chance at this point of doubling up or doing anything about it. They're going to have to max out what they can do with 2 backpacks, and it sounds like there is no shortage of obstacles in their way to this extraction point.
Yeah, and for this extract, you're going to more than likely have to take elevator, because going all the way across the map, press the switch, and try to go in the extra warehouse, it might be a bit much for this team. It's pretty much going to have to bite down, hope you win this gunfight, and if anybody can do it, Hyperkind has definitely shown us that he can definitely be the MVP for this team. I believe in them. I believe they're going to be able to exit here when they end up taking the fight, when they end up pressing the elevator. Oh my goodness, the pressure is on his shoulders. How will Hyperkind react to this kind of pressure?
Yeah, I mean, they've got this position marked, and it looks like they're dealing with the team that dropped Poker, and you know, they're going to have to deal with this threat somehow before they're able to extract. They have enough time to deal with it. You know, a lot has happened early in this round so far. We've got one team successfully off the map and basically done for the round. This team into the late game with over 5 minutes left. Looks like one team that they really have to deal with on the map, but they've got to do it with 2 players. They've got to push through this threat and figure out the angle to take, or just get enough distance to be able to activate the extraction. They are able to check out each other's loot and make sure they max out the value of what they pull off here, and at least able to do that. But 5.5 minutes left. They've got to figure this out, and it looks like this is another round of them mitigating the damage that TATIS is able to do with that lead.
It is. It is going to be a massive lead, man. And now I feel like when we do end up going to that 5th round, it's going to come down to the legend, the myth, that secret document. Are we finally going to get a chance to see it? And in a way, you kind of hope that KARO Gaming ends up getting it, because if the other team ends up getting it, oh man, it's going to be even crazier. As now we got somebody Hyperkind getting pushed there by a teammate. They were trying to loot his teammate. He's going to be pushing up on them. And actually, yeah, close that door. Good job, Hyperkind. I like that play by you, as he's currently having one of his other teammates get an off angle, if I'm not mistaken. Switching around. Is he currently by himself? I can't tell where the other team is at. Baby stepping his way up to the team, trying to see if he can maybe surprise them. Can Hyperkind clutch up?
Yeah, he's doing a great job here where he has one engagement, so he knows that that teammate that he knocked was able to give his teammates information, right? So he repositions and he wraps around. I believe he wraps closer to his teammate, but he sees this team coming in behind him. So he's got the advantage of a potential surprise again by repositioning here. Hyperkind with solid movement and tactics in the gunfight, but by being down players, he puts himself in a tough situation. Sees the player down at the end of the hall. Looks like that might be a bot, though.
That's going to be a bot. That's going to be a bot. And Pills is going to have the backup, though. So I think the other team is now starting to back up. They don't really want to push on that because they feel like it might be a trap. But the thing is, with this time, and you hear Hyperkind saying it right there too, they need to make sure they push out. They need to take on to this fight. Hyperkind is going to be able to get one. The other one might end up pushing in. Hyperkind now reloading, getting ready for the push from the other player. He's going to be able to hold that angle. Pills Mayhem needs to end up pushing up on this team. He needs to be able to have that angle and back it up in case for some reason they do end up trading. And I think the other enemy is going to be to the side. He's going to be inside those stairs. He recognizes that. He's waiting for that door to open, throws an impact, and is going to make a push here towards the elevator to press it and make sure they have enough time to exit with, because it is going to take 3 minutes.
Yeah, excellent maneuver here from Hyperkind. You know, he's given himself an opportunity for success here with perfect decisions in his movement and timing. He downs one player from that enemy team, repositions as they're reacting to where he was, not where he is. Hyperkind then repositions, and constantly as he's doing that is moving towards this extraction point. And then he gives himself another opportunity. He's got the element of surprise again, and a player from that team runs out. He's able to get the shots in the back and completely protect himself, and then get to the extraction point activation in time. I mean, just perfect execution from Hyperkind this late in this round.
Yeah, I think Pills was calling out there a player that was in general office. I'm not sure if he was able to eliminate him or not, but good angles here from this team, and I like what they're doing now. Pills taking advantage of general office and whatever's going to be coming there from temporary treatment room, and then Hyperkind taking the angle pretty much down where reading room is going to be, manager office and director's office is going to be as well. This is going to be such a long time to wait, and they need to make sure they don't overpeak. They need to make sure they don't get caught here, because they need this loot, especially with what TATIS and her squad were just able to do.
Yeah, these teams are working with a different time countdown than every other team in their lobby. This 20-minute time limit puts more time pressure on them. And so what I think they may have done here is, you know, they engaged, they were able to drop half of that enemy team, but their quick movement to this extraction may have surprised this team and given them just enough space to get an extraction done. You know, a minute and 20 seconds left here, and it looks like all of the threats are coming from one direction. So at least they've got themselves set up in a pretty solid position here and are giving themselves the highest probability of an extraction point here as we get down to the 60-second mark in their last ditch effort with 2 players left to just limit the extension of Team Tati's lead. We know that team had a huge extraction value with 1.7 million in a single backpack, but we have not yet seen the total value of that extraction and the work left for Team KARO Gaming in this last and 5th round.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people right now currently watching this, including myself, everybody's like, you know what, Hyperkind? I owe you an apology. I wasn't familiar with your game. Now I'm at. So for everybody watching, make sure you guys go subscribe to all these content creators. KARO Gaming, Pills Mayhem, Hyperkind, Porker Bro, and obviously in the other team, Tatis, Six Kratos, Marco, and Mitek. As here we go, making that push. They need to get inside this elevator. 17 seconds left, 15 seconds left. The doors will be closing in 5 seconds. He needs to make sure he doesn't overpeak. He needs to make sure he doesn't end up getting caught there, because boy, those headshots can be elusive, and he's gonna be inside the door. And there you go, side of release, Hyperkind, pressure of his shoulders, making sure they at least get some loot, and at least possibly if they find a secret document in the last round, Mod 6, they can maybe get that W.
I gotta say, you know, despite some of the loot value struggles from Team KARO Gaming up to this point, that play just now at the end of this round from Hyperkind has to go up for potential play of the evening. Huge loot value at over 700K for him. He's able to be successful in the gunfight as he deals with 2 players from an advancing enemy team. You know, he uses the angles, he uses the timing, he gets 2 kills, gets to the extraction activation point at like barely over 3 minutes left, activates the extraction, extracts successfully in the final 10 seconds of the round, and is able to pull big value off the map. Hyperkind absolutely doing the most to give his team a chance at closing this lead in the last round.
It really has. Honestly, if we had an MVP award, I feel like he would definitely be taking that, because he has been absolutely solid for him. And now we move on to that final round, right? We're gonna have a break here in a bit, and we'll go through that summary and everything there. But oh man, I'm excited. I know it is quite a mountain to climb there for KARO Gaming, but with what I have seen in Arena Breakout, with what I have experienced in the past, with what I know players can find, and one player alone can exit with, anything is possible. All right, don't be giving up. Don't be counting them out, because KARO Gaming and her squad could make this comeback, and you never know what's going to happen there with Mitek and his squad. Maybe they're feeling a little bit too overconfident. Maybe they're going to be feeling too overconfident going into this last one, and it could backfire. Anything can happen here in Arena Breakout.
Yeah, listen, Team KARO Gaming needs an absolute moonshot in this final round. But hey, you know, people who think this is over, we literally just saw 2 Golden Lions for one team in one game in the last round, right? It didn't go in a direction that makes this closer, but that shows you what is possible on TV Station Lockdown. And we're about to see what work Team KARO Gaming has ahead of them. Now, a huge round for them. A huge round, because they're able to pull off $1 million in overall value from that game because of the efforts there at the end from their remaining 2 players. And Team TATIS with a 900K loot value over, or excuse me, $1 million loot value higher, 1 million more points. The lead widens, but it stays within what's feasible for Team KARO Gaming going into this final round.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why we're giving Hyper and also Pills Mayhem a lot of credit there towards the end, maintaining themselves alive, winning those gunfights, making sure that they do end up extracting them, because 1 million out of 2 players, with all the pressure that they were dealing with what everything that was going on within that team, especially in that last round, that is going to be massive for him. You can see him there being able to take on some fights. That's when the magazine ended up ending. It was just giving them a chance. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in case you're wondering what happened there, Hypercon was like, you know what, I'm tired of killing too many people. I'm just going to give him a chance. I'm not even going to put bullets in my mag for just 1 second. And then he was able to recover from that as he was able to exit. And then at this moment, Golden Lion for Mitek, Tatis, and that squad. They had 2 Golden Lions. On top of that, they had a vase. They were just on cruise control.
Yeah, huge loot value there, and just, you know, goes to show what can happen on this map. But Team Tatis, you know, they made their own luck there. They made that happen through all consistency throughout the entire evening, and really, Hyperkind has done everything to keep KARO Gaming in this game. We've seen them deal successfully with those gunfights. KARO Gaming as well. They're constantly presented with those tough situations, and they constantly make something out of nothing, and that's what's kept it competitive. So they've got an opportunity here. They've got a chance, and if Hyperkind keeps up some of these excellent tactics, they'll absolutely give themselves a shot. They're just going to need the loot gods to be in their favor in this final round. And listen, I haven't missed this. We are setting absolute records for viewership on the Golden Lions Legion event, and that's because these events are exciting. We've listened to the audience up to this point. We have implemented and work with the production team to give them the feedback about what the audience wants to see from these events. So let us know in the chat. We're going into a 10-minute break before the final round, but let us know in the chat what you want to see from these events, what you want to see from the format, what players you want to see compete. And you know your voice will be heard. I've never worked with a production team and a game that takes that feedback openly like this. And so yeah, give us a hot suggestion. You might see it in an upcoming Golden Lions Legion event.
Agree, man. I want to continue to see more TV Station. I want to continue to see more Lockdown, because it is a completely different level.
Yeah. This is the Lockdown Zone has made it what I think this competition is really needed to be, which it puts players into situations where, you know, there's some struggle there, right? Like it puts them into tough gunfights and forces the kind of decision making that really makes the difference in these outcomes. So we're going to get to our 10-minute break now. And when we get back, we have round 5 of our Golden Lions Legion Valkyrie Crash with these 2 female content creators and their teammates going head-to-head in TV Station Lockdown Zone, going after kills and loot. Team KARO Gaming's got a big gap to close. Let's see if she can do it in this final round. So we're going to cut to that 10-minute break now, and we will see you when we get back.
As soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got a job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just empleados. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Pomona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head-to-head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Bresk controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can. It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but at what cost? It pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. Let's know what it is.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
Take this. Lieutenant's orders.
Wolfman, we got the situation here. Something's up. I think we got trouble.
Entrance clear. Moving to the rendezvous.
Intruders! Through the main entrance! Go for backup now! Move the hallway! Let in the offices! Good night! Down! Cover me! Suppressing fire! Hang in there!
Where is that asshole?
Turn it down!
Just do your fucking job. All units, move up! Eat shit! Get down! Keep moving! Quit playing with your in position at the east entrance. The power's back. Need time to break in.
Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated
Ava, you said there's nobody here.
Mouth down, boy!
The area is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak. Emergency services are on the scene. Any unrelated personnel are to evacuate immediately. The area is about to be cordoned off as gas has started to leak.
As soon as the signal dropped, I knew the war had started.
Got a job for you. Pack your bags.
It was a beacon of culture in that little country. Not just employados. Late night TV, cartoons, news, and rumors.
The Civil War wraps up and somebody marches in, takes over the TV station. Somebody who represents the committee.
Some say it's a secret prison, others a bomb shelter. But I think there's something else down there. The committee coming in was just a psyop. Pomona's civil war never ended.
That little band of black gold hooligans. They took a lot of my men out in the attack.
Now it's hard fighting. Head to head, brute force. The TV station is total chaos and Bresk controls the second floor.
I need someone to do a little digging. Investigate what's going on and tell me everything you can.
The area is about to be cordoned off.
It isn't easy making a living in the dark zone. You make some coin, but at what cost? It pays to have strong friends.
Get in, find them, and take them out.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something under there. That's no better than the basement.
I'm gonna find out what it is.
So, make your choice. No regrets, huh?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for the 5th and final round of our Valkyrie Clash heads-up match here in the Golden Lions Legion events. We have Team KARO Gaming and Team TATIS, and up to this point, Team TATIS has been just absolute consistency. Every game is successful, and they've developed what is now over a 3 million coin lead. And so Team KARO Gaming is going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat in this 5th round to be able to flip this lead. It's possible. We know the loot is there, but it all depends on their execution and successful extraction.
Yeah, we manifested some golden lions earlier. I think it's time. And I don't care which team ends up getting it, okay? I think it's time we end up manifesting that sweet, sweet secret document. Because
that's what it's going to take.
Whether it happens for KARO Gaming or whether it happens for TATIS, I mean, it's going to be insane if we actually finally get a chance to see a secret document here in one of this Golden Lion Legion Rivals event. But overall, man, I'm excited to see how KARO Gaming and her team are going to be playing. I'm sure we are going to be expecting the exact same here at TATIS as we're going to be going into the final round of this Valkyrie Clash.
Yeah, this TV station lockdown zone gives us an amazing arena to test the skills of these players because they are constantly under pressure in the gunfight, and there's some serious loot value available. So we hop into round 5 with these teams. They have just under 18 and a half minutes left, and we see Hyperkind with Team KARO Gaming into the loot and in a gunfight.
I mean, if we want to chance it for this one.
Great comms there by Hyperkind, actually being the IGL for his team, letting them know where the squads are going to be, what will be the best fights to be if they want to make sure they close on that gap. You can see there at the bottom, Team TATIS 5.8 million, 47 eliminations, and that includes bots as well. And then Team KARO 2.7 million with 36 eliminations. Overall, man, so far, I'm excited. I'm happy with what I've seen. I'm very satisfied, but I want more. I'm starting to get a little bit greedy, okay? Oh,
Teapot.
baby!
He's making some progress to close that gap.
You're so quiet about it, bro.
That's the kind of greediness I want to see. Get that teapot and keep it rolling. Keep it going because, boy, I feel like we're going to have ourselves quite a bit of a nail biter.
Yeah, they're on their way here. They've got a lot of work left to do, but this is the start that they need to give themselves a shot here. 3.1 million is a big gap to overcome, but we've been saying it the whole time. It's possible on these maps. They may very well need a secret document, but Hyperkind, with no issues in the gunfight, this dude is leading the way like a hero right now. He knows what he's got to get done. He's got an eye on enemy upstairs, is right on his heels, and they're setting up to take this situation down. But again, we mentioned it earlier, fighting from the low ground brings additional risk that you have to mitigate with perfect tactics, perfect placement of those grenades, and we'll see how they handle this one. But, you know, running around all over the place and doing what they want with the floor that they're on right now.
Yeah, and I love this rotation out of them. Instead of going up towards recording studio, instead of going towards that second floor, they decided to just play it safer. They know that there's going to be no bots here in the first floor, especially where they ended up pushing out. And they might be able to possibly end up surprising some team in director's office, as that's exactly where they're going to be making that push for. Hyperkind leading the charge, as you were mentioning. He's got that BP ready. That AK is an absolute laser under the right hands. And here comes the push. They need to be careful. He was right at once. He needs to make sure he clears those corners. He's going to be able to spot one bot, and he's going to be able to eliminate them and make sure he doesn't get peeked by a possible team being in library.
Yeah, he's moving so well here and making excellent decisions. I mean, I saw Hyperkind playing events several months ago, and I'm telling you, I'm looking at a different player. He saw plenty of struggles in some of his first ever events on Arena Breakout, and now this dude knows the map. He knows what he's got to get done, and he has been successful in so many of these contentious gunfights. He's into his next safe here, and he's got to get big value out of every single safe to be able to give themselves a shot. Now, the Vector's not going to be the money that he needs. Hopefully, these safes contain something huge.
And here comes, there's a, oh, it's going to be an album there. That's going to be something, though. Anything is currently going to be helping them out because I'm pretty sure the team overall is going to be looking to get that loot. Open everything, clear every corner, open every single case. You got 15 minutes to do it, so might as well just take your time. Make sure you check everything. And make sure you don't leave any golden lions behind because sometimes golden lions do spawn to the right side. So for anybody watching that might not be familiar with this TV station loot, to the right side, out in the open, a golden lion spawns. Don't ask me how I know. Somebody lost it. Somebody actually got it from me. By the way, Poker Bro is dead from this squad.
Wow, taking a death at this point. I mean, that makes the mountain they need to climb nearly impossible. We'll see what this safe has for Hyperkind. Not enough, and they're down a player now with Pills actively in a gunfight. They've got to get themselves out of this situation and continue with momentum across this map. Hyperkind's making do with everything he can, opening every loot opportunity. I mean, his backpack is almost full, but it doesn't have nearly enough value to close the gap that they need to make this kind of competitive and give themselves a shot here at the very end.
Yeah, and I think with Hyperkind here, he's trying to figure out when Poker Bro ended up dying. Remember earlier we did hear from KARO Gaming saying that they might have been having some issues with the Discord, with how they were trying to talk, considering that they're all in different regions and in different time zones as well. I wonder if this team is maybe currently running into that, but you got to flush that out. You can't focus on that. You got to focus on what's at hand. And at the moment, you got a big gap to close up. And right now, at least, hear me out. QZ61 is not going to do it, but you do have a teapot, so might as well just keep it rolling.
Yeah, we're gonna push towards center.
Yeah. He's got to, he's got to check every one of these crates, every single safe. He's got to maximize his opportunity. But the longer they stay in a single position, the more risk they take, especially if the fight that they're in is with a team that's kind of, got a good idea what their position looks like. They're going to be in a tough situation here if they're backed into a corner with the gap they have to fill here.
Great comms by this team as well. Hyperkind being very aware of where all the footsteps are coming from, where all the gunshots are currently happening. So great communication out of this team. We don't know currently what's happening there with Team TATIS. I'm pretty sure they're still in cruise control with what they've been able to do. Feels mayhem. Let's see how far away this team is. Okay, they're currently all together. They're going to open up that door. Clear, but this is a risky push because you can be held from the right side and you can also be surprised by the tiny little room, the alternate passage that is going to be at the exit. And as soon as you turn left, KARO's being able to spot somebody. She's going to be taking some shots. They're not going to want to make this push. They got 12 minutes to work with.
Yeah, showing a lot of patience here. Hyperkind with perfect instructions to the team and the team calling out, this is definitely a TAC Ops team, and how many players, I mean, their comms are excellent, and they're going to have to, they're showing us some good patience here. They don't want to rush in, but they also have to continue their movement across the map. 12 minutes left and a lot of work left to do, but they're taking this approach quite carefully because they simply cannot take any more deaths in this last round.
And I like what he did here. Hyperkind telling Pills Mayhem and also KARO Gaming to go from the right side, try to flank around towards that corridor by elevator, and see if they can possibly get a different angle and surprise them as he's just baby stepping. He needs to be careful though, because I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna be looking at this window if there is a team there. And a lot of times I've seen people die over and over again by just over peeking, not really being sure where they're gonna be at, and then boom, headshot, and you're back on the lobby. And right now this team cannot afford to lose one more person with only 11 minutes to work with. And at this point with this team, 3 players alive, so far behind, they need to push the action. I would be against it usually, but they need to push the action here because they have a big gap to close down. And a teapot might look good in the backpack, but it's just not going to be good enough.
Yeah, Hyperkind being careful here because he knows that KARO was shot at from this position. He knows the enemy team knows that spot and might be looking, but he hasn't seen anything so far. Com's good with his teammates, but this is somewhat slow progress. So they're hoping for the best gear possible on these players if they're able to successfully finish this gunfight. His teammates have flanked all the way around to the right and are sending him information as he's been so careful in moving up to try and loot this body. He does not want to take any extra chances. So while his teammate closes this gunfight, and it serves him well as he catches the player holding the angle. That's exactly the decision-making we need to see from Hyperkind, as he was right to be careful in that situation. He knew the risk, and you heard him immediately call that out and back out. This is excellent tactical decision-making from Hyperkind, and it's exactly what they need to be able to be successful in this round.
It is. Sadly, he wasn't able to get any shots there, but he was able to communicate that to his team. And with the team being able to rotate around, I feel like they might be able to continue on this fight. KARO Gaming needs to slow down a little bit. She needs to make sure she doesn't overextend, because that player was level 6, meaning that that ammo is going to be coming in. You know they're going to be ready. And if he is going to be peeking, I would have to pre-fire this. This is just such a risky move here, an alternative passage, because they're going to be able to spot you first before you even spot them, considering that you're peeking, and they're just going to be hiding behind some metal cover. They have the advantage here, and here comes the push from Hyperkind. He does have that teapot on his backpack. KARO currently looting that body, making sure they secure any loot that they possibly can. It's only going to be level 4, and we look at TATIS, and right now we don't like the look on her face, and that's because she's currently dead. We're not sure what happened there, but oh my, a big fight happened between this team and somebody else.
Yeah, and Mitek with some fat loot in the backpack, and so every bit of loot that team TATIS, even if they have a player down, every bit of loot that they're able to take off of this map extends that lead and makes it tougher for KARO Gaming to come back and have a shot. So TATIS making some decisions on the loot, and Mitek making some decisions on the loot. But if TATIS is down and out, this is exactly what KARO Gaming needs, because 3.1 million is a big enough hill to climb. If the team is unsuccessful in this round, that keeps it reasonable. That gives them a shot. So Team TATIS really dealing with their first real struggle of the entire event in this final round.
Yeah, and with the way that KARO Gaming's team was kind of handicapped whenever Poker Bro was knocked, and here we go, Hyperkind getting some shots there. I think that might have been a bot. He's able to hit those shots. We're not sure what happened with the level 6 player that was in alternative passage. He might have decided to back off, but that's even a scarier side, because now they got 7 minutes. We know it takes 3 minutes to be able to exit elevator. And with the loot that they have right now, it's not going to be enough. They're going to have to push the action. They're going to have to stand balls to the wall and just go for it here and try to hope they find that level 6 player, take on that fight, win the fight, and switch out the loot and hope that he has a red item in his backpack.
Yeah, Hyperkind playing extremely well here, but a difficult task at hand. They've downed all of the bots, plenty of players. They've still got a few threats left out on the map, and that backpack is nearly full. So expecting to see both of these teams start to... Oh, Hyperkind now taking some shots. He's got cover from KARO, but he says he took a headshot there, so taking some serious damage. Sees a little bit of movement. Hyperkind and KARO potentially able to neutralize that threat. But moments of stress here late in the game.
Feels Mayhem is knocked. Feels Mayhem is not. He ended up over peeking, and he kind of was able to call it out. Hyperkind, you can see him being able to be like, dang it, because he was calling out that there was a player down there. Pills Mayhem getting a little bit surprised, not sure if he was just overextending or what happened there, as now we switch over here to Team TATIS, and they're just kind of cruising through. They're trying to loot everything that they can within their power to make sure that if the other team does end up possibly finding a secret document, they'll be able to eliminate that with them being able to find extra loot. But man, what a game that they're currently having for KARO Gaming, with being down one player. On top of that, you see Hyperkind trying to go for that loot, but he ends up getting shot. Luckily, right now, as we have seen, nobody else has been eliminated for that team, so they do still have 3 players.
Yeah, and I mean, even with Team TATIS down 1 player as well, Mitek has crazy loot right now, and it looks like he's gotten all of the luck that he needs to get, to just make sure they've got enough padding in the lead to really close this out. We're down to the last 6 minutes of the entire matchup, and Mitek leading this team now, and looks like a man with a plan as they move through the remainder of these rooms. They've got probably very limited loot space left in the backpack of the 3 players that are left up. We heard some rounds fired there, potentially dealing with a threat down that hallway, but these guys are going to be wanting to look at their extraction options as quickly as possible.
Oh.
And we have Hyperkind down now. They have all the struggle right now as multiple players going down. We saw Hyperkind picking up KARO as she went down earlier. She's throwing some grenades now. Pills Mayhem up further back, but Hyperkind now with half of that progress bar left. He needs to be able to be picked up here. They have to have every player possible. Pills and KARO looking at this threat, but they're going to need to revive him very, very quickly here. Pills comes over, starts that revive process as KARO holds that angle, but they've got all of these grenades coming in. Plenty of risk. That final grenade comes in. Hyperkind is killed, and that looks like it might be the death of their chances in this event if we weren't there already. More grenades from this enemy team as KARO is just doing what she can to stay alive herself, and it's too much! 7, it's too much. KARO goes down.
KARO getting there, caught with that peek. She wasn't sure if she was going to end up getting pushed and ends up getting knocked as well. Oh, man. What an absolute just unlucky that was there for KARO Gaming and her squad. You saw them having to be aggressive, them having to step out of their comfort zone, especially with KARO Gaming, with what she told us earlier on. We're going to talk about KARO Gaming and her squad a little bit more as we do see MeTech here activating that elevator exit and hoping that they're able to at least secure some extra stuff. But overall, man, what a match there. I got to give some props to Hyperkind. Overall, I felt like he played really, really well. He definitely had great communications. I feel like he was definitely that MVP. But props for KARO Gaming as well, Pills Mayhem and Poker Bro, because they put up a great showcase here. You couldn't hold back this team. You couldn't hold back TATIS, MeTech, Six Kratos, and on top of that, Marco DG, because boy, they were on a roll. They were very, very consistent in the way that they were able to play. The aggressiveness that we saw to them ended up working out perfectly. But oh man, that's just so heartbreaking there, that last game for KARO Gaming and her squad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they played that pretty well. They dealt with a lot of grenades, you know, 2 teammates, good angles down that hallway, and it just wasn't quite enough to be able to lock that situation down and recover. We saw great plays from Team KARO Gaming, lots of excellent demonstration of tactics in the gunfight and maneuver to be able to flank enemies. But at the end of the day, there was consistency here on Team TATIS that they couldn't match with the loot in every round up to this point. Even now, with their player down and 3 remaining, MeTech has a backpack that is full, absolutely full of loot, and they've got their final 3 minutes here as he deals with some of these threats. They've activated the extraction already, so they've got a little bit less than 2 minutes before that extraction countdown timer is done.
Yeah, MeTech just trying to see if he can maybe get lucky, get somebody else, get some extra loot. Right now, it's looking like they're going to be locked in. 76.98 kilos this man is currently at, so you definitely know he has that sweet loot. 2 minutes left. We're not sure currently how much is left here on the timer, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to. Oh yeah, they're definitely have enough time here to make this exit for MeTech and his squad, and I think it's pretty much just gonna be a wrap up as soon as they exit. But overall, man, what a tournament. I'm loving TV Station. I want to continue to see even more TV Station because the games have been intense, the loot has been amazing, and overall, I'm just happy. I'm just happy with the competition that we're seeing here out of all these content creators.
Yeah, I love seeing these competitions on Lockdown Zone, and TV Station gives us a map where we get that guaranteed action. You know, there are maps like Northridge that are fun. We get to see some of those long distance engagements and how these teams are able to set that up and be successful. But those larger maps, they do present the opportunity of a game that just doesn't have that much action. Maybe you don't get the gunfights you want to see. Well, that's never going to happen on TV Station. There's always going to be crazy gunfights and tough situations for these teams, and we saw that consistency this evening from Team TATIS, and our Spanish-speaking team is going to take the victory again, 2 weeks in a row now, and MeTech is putting together quite the Arena Breakout resume as he is on the victorious team 2 weeks in a row.
undefeated record so far in TV station for Mitek, especially what his team was able to do. And on top of that, to even add it to that leaderboard, 584,000 just from himself. We don't know what the other 3 players were able to do. By the way, Pills Mayhem did end up surviving this. So at least they might be able to secure some extra loot. Actually, you know what? I take that absolutely back because he's too far away. And I don't think he's going to be able to even reach that airstrike. Overall, though, great plays by this team. Everybody in the chat currently watching, make sure you definitely give them GGs and go subscribe to their YouTube channels, Twitch, whatever it is that they make content on. Is KARO Gaming, Pills Mayhem, Hyperkind, and Poker Bro, because they definitely put up a good performance there. You can see their faces a little bit disappointed. They wanted to showcase more, but honestly, with the team that they were going up against, with what we saw Mitek and his squad were able to do last week, I'm not surprised of what we saw here, but I am happy that Team KARO was able to put up some points there on the leaderboard.
Yeah, we saw some big loot items, and we've seen 2 events in a row now where we've seen multiple golden lions, and so the loot is out there on the map, but the way you increase your chances, and even for players out there playing not in a competitive event, the way you increase your chances that you're successfully able to get one of those huge loot items is that consistency. We could tell that Team TATIS had a plan ahead of time, and then they executed that plan. So we saw very similar style games from them in all 5 rounds, varying degrees of loot luck, varying degrees of gunfight difficulty, but that consistency game in and game out is what allowed them to bring home the win with a pretty significant margin. And when the margin is that much more than just those golden lions, that's how you can tell they had the solid plan to come in, and they executed perfectly.
Yeah, and it comes down to those reps, right? That the chemistry was such a big thing. Even when we got a chance to talk in that interview with KARO Gaming and Hyperkind, we're wondering, okay, how much have you guys played? They say it was kind of last minute. They really haven't been able to play much because of those time zone difference as well. And then when you go to the other side, right, Mitek telling me that he was pretty much the one that showed TATIS how to play the game, and he plays with 6 Kratos. So definitely a big advantage for that team already right off the bat.
Yeah, I think we saw the huge advantage of that prior coordination, as well as the experience that Mitek had coming from last week into this event with the same format. We see here 1.79 million in loot value with 10 kills, 1.8 in overall value to extend that lead, and maybe even set some records in definitely in this 5-round format for overall loot value for one team. Our most successful team so far. Let's check out some highlights from this final and 5th round.
And boy, was there some there, even from Hyperkind, when he's found that teapot. It kind of gave us a chance, right? It kind of gave us a fall positive there. We're like, okay, all right, teapot right off the bat, things are looking good. You can see him, he was pushing, he was making sure he cleared everybody right there. I was wondering why he didn't take a shot as soon as he saw him, but man, in those moments, you never know what's going through your mind. At this point, he ended up getting shot. You can see him calling it out right away, telling his team exactly where they were probably going to be coming from. Ultimately, the team ended up overpeaking. They brought him back up, but when they made that push, it was a little bit too much for them to handle. Grenades came in. Great grenade by the enemy team, I must say, as he ended up getting knocked there. KARO ends up getting with the peak. Overall, man, I am so happy with the competition that we've seen here from all these players. And I can't wait, and I'm hoping that we actually get a chance to talk to KARO Gaming and Hyperkind at some point here before we end it, because I feel like they definitely deserve their roses in the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Good performance, solid performance from both teams, and I was super impressed with the adjustment that Team KARO Gaming made from round 1 to round 2, and we saw the effect that had in their overall success. So our final overall recap, we have Team TATIS with the win, 7.9 million in overall value to the 2.9 million from Team KARO Gaming, a 5 million point margin, a 4.9 million margin in overall loot. A big win for Team TATIS, and that consistency won the day, and they're able to set some records in this 5-round format on TV Station Lockdown Zone and bring home that $2,000 cash prize.
definitely set some records. 7.9 million. Boy, that is the most that I personally have seen in this event. And then KARO Gaming there with 2.9 million in her squad. Overall, what a performance. Not a bad day's work, right? Especially for Arena Breakout. 5 matches, you would say, of TV Station, and the overall squad makes 7.9. Yeah, you know what? TV Station is pretty awesome, man. This is one of the best maps in the game. Possibly the best map.
Yeah, absolutely. The map to play if you've got the skill and you want to pad that bankroll, that is for sure. TV Station Lockdown Zone, an excellent map and format for us to be able to test these teams' proficiency. And that is what the Golden Lions Legion is here for, to showcase the gameplay style, the skill, the tactics, and the results of some of the best competitive players and content creators out there in Arena Breakout. So always, as always, let us know in the chat what you want to see from these events, and we will do what we can to bring that to you. Expect to see more extremely close competition and more crazy gunfights from these teams in future Golden Lions Legion events.
Yeah, and if I'm hearing that right, I think we might actually be ready for an interview here with KARO Gaming and Hyperkind. So hopefully we're going to be able to go to that, because, man, even though it is a bummer, right, they didn't get the win, they still got the experience, they still got to be part of all of this. And with that said, KARO Gaming, Hyperkind, I know, I'm sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but hey, you guys did amazing. Considering that you guys haven't been able to get the reps, considering that I'm not sure there what happened with the communications. I think you guys were having some communication issues. Is that right?
Yeah, one of our teammates unfortunately couldn't use Discord. He could, I hope he could hear us, but he couldn't communicate with us, so that was a big barrier as well, not knowing where he is, what angles he's holding. And then we just had some unfortunate situations in the raids, but Hyperkind, absolute MVP of the game, just had some amazing clutches. So, if we had a bit more practice, we could have definitely done a bit more damage there, but it was just unfortunate today.
I will say this. The first time that the 4 of us played together in a team was literally an hour before the event. The 4 of us have not been on a team together at all before this. I got to play.
Yeah,
I got to do a couple
a crazy
of
result given that lack of prep. Yeah. So one of the things we noticed is, you had a very different second game than first game, and really tightened some things up that facilitated some success in that second round. What adjustment did you make after round 1?
The biggest thing was with that first round, we really were hoping to go for a second game of TV. But unfortunately, when we all got ready, we only had about 7 minutes left. So if we managed to squeeze in that second game, it would have been a bit different. I feel the first game, we just kind of really wanted to secure loot, and then it kind of backfired because I rushed to clear the guy I just killed, and it just didn't work. So we just slowed it down. We tried to hit a lot more safes, pick up a lot more bot ammo and just stuff like that, really. So it did pay off. We just got ratted on a few times, so typical TV.
Typical TV station.
But overall, I mean, you guys did great. Given with what you said as well, Hyperkind, only being able to play together as a squad 1 hour before the event, and this is kind of what I was giving you guys props, because you guys were still able to be head-to-head right up until the end, where they just pretty much got insanely lucky with the loot. 2 golden lines, a vase, and they just pretty much took off from there. You guys were head-to-head right there. What was your, but the way, Hyperkind, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to game 1. What were you thinking about once you opened up that vase and you saw it? What was going through your mind?
It was the nerves, man. I mean, I'm not doing competitions like this a lot. I mean, it's always the nerves, and then after like the change from game 1 to game 2, where we started to step it up, like try to get into more engagements and stuff like that, it was really just seeing like just that difference in total loot value and score, like after the ending of round 1. But I mean, just getting that first red item, I mean, the nerves kicked in. It's like right from the start. I was gonna try to play it out a little bit more. Like once KARO took out that guy by library, like she started pushing out there, but she got dropped. Like once we went down to 3, like we knew that we had at least 2 to 3 other people inside library, and with sitting on that red item, I didn't want to chance it, so kind of like held back a little bit, played it a little bit more safe. But that was round one. That was the nerves. That was just, it was there. You know, it happens to everybody. But
it was
once
a lot
that
of
was
pressure
done,
for you for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but
hey,
once that was
listen.
done, we just pushed out. Like from there on.
Listen, Hyperkind, I saw you. I think the last time I saw you play was probably 3 or 4 months ago, and then we saw you again tonight. And I gotta say, the difference is something serious. Have you been putting in some serious time on Arena Breakout in the last couple of months? Because yeah, you showed up today.
Yeah, I mean, stream schedule wise, I'm on 6 nights a week, and I'm putting in at least 2 to 3 hours of Arena Breakout each night. I don't have a set group that I run with, so for me, every single group that I'm running with, it's all viewers, so it's always different. So I'm always adapting to how my team is, and like kind of trying to get better at like taking more charge, pushing, and like trying to be more aggressive while balancing things out.
Well, hey, man, you did that. Your IGL definitely showcase right there. And before we actually let you guys go, tell the viewers where they can find you guys at. KARO?
So I stream on YouTube, mainly YouTube, KARO Gaming. Hoping to start streaming on TikTok soon, but just YouTube.
And for me, I'm Hyperkind across all platforms. Stream currently to YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok all at the same time. Just look up Hyperkind on all of those platforms and you'll find me. I'm on Monday through Saturday from 8 p.m. Hawaii till about 1 a.m. or later. Thank you.
Awesome.
Right on.
Well, hey.
Well, hey, you're definitely getting a subscriber, both of you. So thank you for participating. You guys did awesome.
Appreciate
you guys
it,
gotta
guys.
go follow Hyperkind to get in those viewer games, get in those games with KARO Gaming, and see if you can hang with the level of play you guys saw tonight. Hey, congratulations, well played. Thanks for giving us a show this evening, and we hope to see you again here in some future Golden Lions Legion events.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just crazy how little experience they had as a team playing together before this, and then they jump right in. And I mean, you heard Hyperkind say that he plays with viewers in different groups all the time. That experience he absolutely showed tonight, because we saw them make quick adjustments from round 1 to round 2 and immediately have more success. And Hyperkind MVPs the team a bit there, where he's able to get off the map with something and keep the game somewhat within reach multiple different times. So some exciting matchups. Congratulations to Team TATIS on the win. 7.9 million points, huge value, maximum consistency, and TV station lockdown zone never short on the action. That's for sure.
Yeah, I hope we keep it rolling. I hope we keep it rolling for TV station, because so far the 2 tournaments, even though this one wasn't close towards the end, you never know what could happen. You never know what could happen without all of that stuff going on right there. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have enjoyed this event. I hope you have enjoyed the Golden Lions Legion Rivals, because it has been amazing. It's been a pleasure once again working alongside with you, Mod 6 Gaming. And by the way, if you guys want to check us out, we also make content. And there's also some keys right there. So while you're getting your CD keys, make sure you hit that subscribe, follow us on
those
YouTube,
codes.
Mod 6 Gaming, the 7WG, and give us some love as well.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to do these events. Make sure you let us know if you were successfully able to redeem our codes. These are the last 10 of these CD keys, and you know, Arena Breakout gives us an awesome game to commentate all the action, especially on TV station lockdown zone. So thank you to Arena Breakout. They take all of the feedback and bring us these events with exciting formats. The production team always delivers, and it's awesome to be able to cast these events alongside the 7WG. I am Mod 6, and you know, these tactical realistic looter shooter style games, when the map is right and the players are right, we get some serious action in these events. So yeah, it's always fun to cast for the Golden Lions Legion.
It really is. And with that said, man, I couldn't have said it better. Shout out to the production team. Shout out to Arena Breakout for allowing us to do this. I can't wait until we have custom matches. Just putting that out there. You know, I manifested two golden lions today, so maybe I'll end up manifesting some custom matches. As you say, he's Mod6 Gaming. I'm the 7WG. This has been Arena Breakout Golden Lions Legion Rivals event, and we can't wait until we see you in the next one.